It's semi-final night in the Women's Federation Cup here in Canberra. We're at Deakin Stadium, Canberra FC versus Belconnen United. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator for a place in the Federation Cup final. Joining me is Matt Moore. Matt, the two preeminent teams in Canberra going toe-to-toe. Only one can go through.
Good evening, Russ. Yeah, fantastic night to be here. Nice clear skies, and for the top two teams that have been the top two teams in Canberra for a number of years now, we would expect something of an intriguing battle and a really intense contest.
We could go the full distance tonight, of course. There is the prospect of extra time and penalties. If we are to avoid that, we need both these sides to do something that they didn't do in round one, and that's score a goal. It was 0-0 in the game between them in the first match of the season. Since then, though, it's not been pretty hard for them to find the net, has it? It's been 50 goals in the last 6 for Canberra FC, 43 in the last 6 for Belconnen. Bodes well for a lot of goals. Yeah,
absolutely. The stalemate in round one has led to an explosion of goals for both teams in the opening rounds of the season, and you would hope that that's something that continues and they continue to have some enterprising football. And as you mentioned, maybe it's time for them to shake things up and do one or two things a little bit different that maybe the other side isn't expecting. It is a cup tie after all.
Both sides got here through fairly routine quarter-final victories. Canberra FC thrashed the UC Pumas at this venue by 14 goals to 0. And Belconnen United, slightly harder time of it at Hawker. They beat the Canberra United Academy 6-0 with 5 goals from Caitlin Munoz. So neither side were really tested to the end of their ability in the last rounds. It's going to be a lot different tonight, though, I would have thought.
Yeah, absolutely. A far different test. You look at the two teams that they came up against in the run to the semi-final, and you're coming up against a far more organised and disciplined side that you know from your previous contests this year mean that going forward tonight, the avenues to goal might not be as easy as they were, and possession of that ball will be vital. You won't want to be running around playing too much defence tonight.
Two players on show, one on either side, who have between them a combined 31 goals so far this season. Rachel Goldstein, the main threat for Canberra FC, 13 league goals and 4 cup goals in only 7 matches. And Maddie Whittle with 14 in 6 for Belconnen United, both on a hot vein of form.
Yeah, absolutely. Rachel Goldstein's been a key outlet for CFC all year, continuing on some reasonable form from last year as well. And you only have to go back to their weekend fixture against the Canberra United Academy, where Goldstein was a massive threat again. And you look on the other side of the field, Maddie Whittle bringing in some experience from her second year in W League and really stepping up and filling the void that's been left by a couple of goal scorers for Belconnen United.
Fair to say she's on a hot streak, 11 in her last 2, 6 against Woden Western and 5 against Canberra Olympics. Not bad, is it?
Yeah, I'm not sure I got 11 in my career, so she's certainly doing far, far better than me. And it just goes to show what exposure can do for somebody at the next level, and if you're willing to bring that back and the level that she's exposed at previously and how she then interacts and brings that form with her, she's going to be a key cog in this Belconnen unit today and somebody that'll be looking to get in on goal early.
Let's not forget there is another semi-final tonight at Hawker, Canberra Olympic versus Woden Western FC. That's the team that's last in the table that hasn't got any points against the team that's sitting 5th. You'd expect Woden Western will probably have the edge in that one on paper at least.
Yeah, absolutely. On paper, it would certainly look like they've got the edge, but as we know with cup ties, that's the beauty of them. I mean, Olympic at the bottom of the table with really nothing to lose and that opportunity to really jump forward and have a chance to win a trophy that maybe people aren't expecting this year.
Well, they thrashed Tuggeranong United 8-0 in their quarter-final, and Woden Western beat Gungahlin United, who 4-0 in their quarter-final, and since then Gungahlin have shown they're a decent side as well. So you never know for that one. The hot favourites, though, to win the competition would obviously come from this tie we're watching tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Some people would deem it as almost a pre-grand final. No disrespect to the other teams involved in the other semi-final tonight, but given that we've got 1v2 and it's been 1v2 between these two clubs for a long, long time here, the experience involved and the ability to know how to win a football game and know how to win under pressure is something that you really can't replace.
Canberra FC, the home team, in their red shirts, white shorts and blue socks. Let's take a look at their starting lineup. It looks like Nick Brozanic has picked a 4-2-1-3, as he normally does. Nat Vasta in goal, Bridget Wright at fullback, with Alice Churchill on the other flank, Amy McLaughlin and Ivana Galich in the middle. Krista Hagan and Isabella Tamaro given a holding midfield role with Jamie Berkeley just in front. The front three of Rachel Goldstein, Mel Bunker and Brittany Palumbi. Looks a very good solid side.
Looks a very good solid side, and one of the key people there I think you mentioned would be Ivana Galich in the back there and how she marshals that defence, and she's a really uncompromising sort of an old school style defender that if she can take the ball and the players she just might, but there's all intent to win that ball and all intent to go forward and has the ability to score a long range goal as well.
Belconnen United forced into a change to their expected 11 in the warm-up. Nicole Jaloka unfit and only able to take a place on the bench. Kira Bobbin comes in up front. Let's take a look at the rest of the Belconnen team. Sally James starts in goal. Their back four has got a very settled look to it. Lauren Keir and Bronte Pike are the fullbacks. Karen Clark and Jessie Rashart provide a combination of experience in the middle. Caitlin Munoz in the holding midfield role, just behind Sam Price and Alexia Fauna. Up front, Maddie Whittle and Kath Brown, with Bobbin coming in.
Yeah, and look, a little bit of a surprise there with Kath Brown starting up front as somebody who's renowned more as a left-sided defender there, so starting to produce something different. And be interesting to see how young Sally James goes. She hasn't probably been tested in the last few rounds, and she's going to have to be sharp and on her toes, ready to go tonight.
Did the Belconnen versus Woden game in round 5. It took 62 minutes before she had a save to make in that one. The benches tonight may be very important. Canberra FC, Laura Agnew, Sharon Chow, Lucy Darcy, Vanessa Ryan and Tiana Malnar. Belconnen United, Nicole Jaloka, Katie Woodman, Jazz Zabel, Leah Carnegie and Jayla Murphy.
Yeah, in a cup tie, always vital to have players on the bench ready to go. The advantage of playing midweek is that everybody's fresh, and as you say, with the possibility of extra time or penalties, it may be all important how you make those changes and when you make those changes.
Big night for Theo Dracopoulos as well. His first cup tie in the middle in the Federation Cup. On the line, Carlina Mullet and Alex Mackay. So it should be an entertaining cup tie. Anthony Jagarinich, the head coach of Belconnen United, he'll be unmistakable when he stands up. Over on the far side, Nick Brosnich, the head coach of Canberra FC, suggesting that they might need a match ball. I think the ref's got one tucked under his arm anyway, so we should be okay. Belconnen in their blue, and it'll be Canberra FC attacking the housing development end rather than the basketball end here at Deakin Stadium. They need to name these ends for us, don't they, Matt?
It'd be nice to have a signage here, maybe a bit of respect. The housing end and the basketball end, with something a little more defined. Maybe the LeBron end if we're going to go for basketball. And I'm not sure about the development one. That's probably an area that I need to steer clear of.
We've got the Ivan Bullen stand, very famous Canberra FC patron, on that far side. Smattering of supporters around for this one, and it's Belconnen United in the blue who get us underway. And an early touch for Clark. Be important tonight, the two central defenders, you'd think. Rashart sends it forward, and the first touch was Bobbin, who came deep. What are we expecting, Matt? A fairly cagey start, or will one side go for it from the off?
I think we'll start to see a feeling out period early between both teams. The scary thing for a cup tie is you don't want to go behind too early, and starting to look and get a feel for how the teams are going and whether the tactics have changed at all from round 1.
Here's Rashart. Nasty bump she sustained in the Canberra FC match earlier in the season with a challenge with Mel Bunker. Thankfully recovered and back, and Clark sent Lauren Kieran away. She won't thank her for that one in the early stages, will she?
No, absolutely not. Deep ball there, but you can already start to see from the Belconnen United front three starting to set very, very narrow. So it'll be interesting to see whether there's some different channels that open up there, or it is a deliberate role to attempt to get the two fullbacks bombing on.
Nat Vasta, the Canberra FC goalkeeper. Get the feeling she's going to need to be at her best tonight, as will her opposite number, as Matt alluded to earlier, Sally James. Munoz prods it forward, looking for Whittle, who's got in behind here slightly. The bounce isn't going to help her. Good control, though, from Maddie Whittle. Back to Munoz. Brings Rashard into play. Pike, who we've seen plenty of times, likes to get forward. Here's Clark. Looks to send it through in behind for Bobbin to chase, and Vasta should collect that.
It's interesting, we've seen that a couple of times from Karen Clark now, really looking to try and expose the gap between the central defender and the wide defender.
She's got a good left foot as well. We know that she can ping a ball over the top and use the pace of the front two. That's nicely done from Brown, who also has a decent left foot and tries to send Whittle on her way. Again, it's over hit.
And again, just that narrowing off from the Belconnen front three there, and just wondering whether we start to see the fullbacks go sooner rather than later.
Good win from Rashart. Going to fall for Berkeley, who gets a touch out wide. Looks to bring Palumbi into play, but Kier's there. And that's out of play and will be a throw-in. And Blue Devils have been the preeminent force in Canberra for a number of years, but over the last couple of seasons, Canberra FC have closed the gap, and this year they're really pushing for the title and for these kind of trophies as well, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. CFC putting immense pressure on as they have in the last few years, as we see the first free kick. But yeah, CFC having that famous shootout victory a couple of years ago in the grand final, and a credit to both clubs that have been able to build their women's program and really stand head and shoulders above most in the town at the moment.
Well, Palumbi's been tasked with the free kick, and she'll look for a red shirt inside the penalty area. It's a bit flat. Hagen trying to help it on its way. And the upshot is it's Brown who picks it up for the Blue Devils. Bit of a disappointing free kick there from Brittany Palumbi.
Yeah, absolutely. They're a bit of a scuffed one, and we know she's got the ability to hit a long-range free kick as well, as she did against Monaro a few weeks ago.
Nice evening in Canberra. It's not too cold just yet. I'm sure it's going to get a little bit cooler. Rashart looks the runner Pike. Picked off easily enough at the back by Bridget Wright. And FC will look to build. Munoz. And characteristic error from her. And it's a bit scrappy early on, Matt.
Yeah, a bit scrappy, maybe a little bit of nerves. It is the cup semi-final, that feeling out period, that finding out period, and nobody taking the ascendancy yet. And we just saw a big challenge there between Galich and Whittle there, and not sure there's plenty more to come in that realm.
Berkeley wins it in midfield. Gets a second attempt. Tries to bring Churchill and apologises to Brittany Palumbi. Just on a different wavelength for a moment. Brown's come into midfield. McLaughlin's won it though. Nice touch from Hagen. And she tried to bring Goldstein into it, but neither side's been able to settle at the moment, and both coaches, you can see on the edge of their technical area, barking instructions.
Yeah, you can see both coaches there really, really looking to now start to get control of the game as we enter into what should be a quite settled period for both teams.
Lauren Keir's ball forwards, and Bobbin tried to roll Churchill, who used her strength, and in fact Bobbin's won the free kick. Copped a bit of a spray there from Lauren Keir.
Yeah, good use of the body there by Bobbin, and we've seen that before. If you can make sure that ball is safe from the defender, you have every chance of getting away and every chance of getting the free kick, and we know how dangerous Belconnen can be from these set pieces as well, Russ.
Well, let's see what they can do with this one. Karen Clark lining it up. 6 blue shirts in on the edge of the penalty area. Decent knock towards the far post. Brown comes in, wins a header, but can't direct it goalwards. Lovely ball from Clark, and a decent chance that for Brown.
Yeah, absolutely. It was there to be taken. She'll be disappointed she didn't hit the target there, and that'll now create a different question in the goalkeeper's mind the next time we're in that situation. She may now start thinking about, does she have to come?
Here's Goldstein. FC's leading scorer finds Bunker. Not quite working for the front three so far for those in red. Perhaps they're rushing it slightly. Whittle's touch. Tamaro got in there in front of her there. And that was Galich who got a foot in on that occasion. Might be one of those evenings where a little bit of magic is required. Wouldn't be great if we were talking about this match, Matt, and that it was like the men's competition and there was a national cup competition for them to go to for the winners.
Yeah, it would be absolutely brilliant, Russ. It's something that's possibly missing from the women's game a little bit here, that extra little bit of reward and incentive for winning something like a Federation Cup, as both coaches seem a little bit unhappy with that 50-50 call.
Looked like a rugby tackle, didn't it, on Maddie Whittle, and it's Canberra FC looking to take advantage with Berkeley. Berkeley finds Goldstein. It comes to nothing, but it looks like a definite foul, didn't it?
Yeah, one that they might review later on when they do their post-review. But interesting there is they broke wide, that the central defenders from Belconnen United got heavily split, and there's a big pocket there for somebody like a Jamie Berkeley to pop into if they can get that crossing.
Well, here she is. Wright looks to deliver. And we should get the first corner of the evening. Chance for Canberra FC to send some of their taller players forward. Haven't got too many aerial threats, have they?
No.
Galich is one of them, though.
Yeah, Galich is absolutely one of them, and probably missing one of their key ones in Grace Gill there, who can certainly get up and win win more than her fair share of delivery.
Well, Brown's been tasked with marking Galich. It's a flatter delivery again. Might fall for Goldstein. Does fall for Palumbi. Bundled out of it, though. And Churchill's a lovely ball out wide to restart. And Berkeley's delivery again finds Galich, who's still hanging around on the edge of the penalty area. It's bouncing around. Galich looks to get it away, but couldn't get it under her feet. And Fauna, her first real involvement. And she concedes a free kick, and that's not gone down very well with the Belconnen bench either.
No, not made the coaching staff there very happy asking the question, but maybe a slight push through the back there. But certainly something that shows that if Canberra FC don't take their chances, the ability for Belconnen United with Fauna and Whittle to hit you on the counter-attack can be absolutely deadly. That's an early warning shot and an early let-off for them.
They've had 3 chances from a set piece at the moment, for a couple of free kicks in the corner, and they haven't been able to beat the first defender, and that's got to be something that's a bit disappointing for Nick Brosnich. As Pike looks to bring it away. Good hassling from Canberra FC, and both sides putting a fair old press on in the early stages. Rashart now has a little bit of space. Stretches the legs. And good ball too for Lauren Keir, but Churchill, who's been doing that for many years, read it quite well.
Yeah, nice little movement there from Rashart to break the lines and get the fullback involved as well.
Bobbin couldn't bring that under control. Munoz with the little dink finds Fauna. Has to go back though. Clark. Bobbin. Rashart. Keir. Belconnen stringing together some passes. Munoz. Clark. Slight deflection. It still might fall for Brown, but Goldstein's doing her defensive duty. And needed to do it well, didn't she? Because Pike was on her.
Yeah, absolutely. Pike had pushed on and put some very good early pressure on. Starting to see the first signs of Belconnen really trying to take control of the game and wait for the opportunity to open up. Interesting to see there that their midfield were very flat. Not a lot of rotation through there to change and alter any pockets for receiving.
Nothing in it in the first 10 minutes. Hooked into the middle by Clark. Falls for McLaughlin to try and clear. She can't. Only for Brown to pick it up. And here's Price. Keir wants it and got it, but couldn't deflect it towards goal. But Belconnen slowly coming into the game as an attacking force.
Yeah, just starting to get the edge here in control and territory and field possession. And even there with that ball out to Keir, you'd probably be looking going forward for her to take that extra touch and just relax high in that box, maybe create a 1v1 opportunity.
There is Keir. Little chip to herself, and it's closed down very quickly by Abbas Churchill, the skipper for Canberra FC. She scored in the 14-0 win over the Pumas here. One of many. Whittle, who's had a fairly quiet opening, gets into her stride now. Bobbin's peeled to the right flank here. Can only find Tamaro. Good touch from Bunker. Now find Palumbi. Berkeley away from Fauna. And it's just falling down in the final third at the moment for Canberra FC as they look to bring their forwards into play. Yeah,
that last pass out there to Goldstein, she's certainly been the key outlet early. And Belconnen possibly a little bit lucky that the passes have gone awry, because you don't want to give Goldstein too many one-on-one chances with a defender to blow by. Good skill, good pace.
Here's Whittle. Peeled into a wide position, looks to swing it into the penalty. It's a good ball too. Bobbin got a touch on it. Tamaro clears. Nicely brought down by Fauna. Settled nicely into the Belconnen United ranks since her move from Olympic. Clark overruns it, but wins it back, and there's a few fairly feisty challenges going in, isn't there?
Yeah, maybe a little bit of frustration starting to creep in from both teams there as they try to get the ascendancy. But something that's probably not unheard of between these two teams, a bit of feisty. No one very competitive, and both are used to winning. Well,
this is within range for Munoz if she fancies it. Instead, she chips it into the area. Good win at the back by Berkeley. She's there again. Keir's touch. Now Bobbin looks to spin away. Kira Bobbin. Good ball into the area. Chance here, but Vasta came out quickly to smother Nice turn there from Kira Bobbin. Shows us what she's capable of.
Yeah, absolutely. Really great turn there by Bobbin, and probably might catch her a little bit by surprise that she's starting as well, being the late call-up, but that's really good early signs for her, and something that'll please the Belconnen staff to no end.
Has scored a goal this season in the first grade team. She scored the last of the 12 against Worden Western. Did score the winner in the under-20s or reserves, whatever they call it these days, in the game same day. And they have high hopes for her here.
Yeah,
Big shoes to fill in Nicole Jalocka, though. 6 goals this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jalocka, as we were speaking before the game, Russ, quality footballer, very athletic, with young, but someone who's very dynamic and adds a lot to the game.
Churchill looks for Palumbi's run, but Keir was there. She's rather let it slip across her foot, though, and first touch really for Sally James. It's not been particularly busy. Here's Goldstein looking to change that. Looks to find Wright. Goldstein once more. Nice little exchange of passes with Wright. It's a good ball in towards Bunker. Flag stays down. Couldn't get a touch on it. In fact, flag went up fairly quickly as soon as she went close to the ball. But lovely ball in from Bridget Wright.
Yeah, absolutely. And first probably real open play opportunity there for Canberra FC as they shift it wide and look for that early cross. Something that potentially they'll start to bring in a little bit more. But First shot fired from Canberra FC, and now can they start to get those fullbacks a little more involved as they start to try and take some ascendancy back in the game?
Well, it's very similar in feel to the first match of the season between the two. We've had a quarter of an hour, not really many goal-scoring opportunities at either end. Rashart's ball in towards Brown. It might fall here for Whittle. The flag goes up against her as well, so that won't count, despite how good a finish it was.
Yeah, it's an absolutely quality finish. I'd be devastated if that had got taken off me. But that early shot to that angle ball, again, you can see the front three of Belconnen really narrowing off. So that ball goes into Brown, and she's able to get that flick on to Whittle. And if Canberra FC aren't careful, that might be a sign of things to come.
Taken with the aplomb of a forward in form, of course. Looks like a foul again, but coming together between Whittle and Galich. And no doing, says Dracopoulos. 2 or 3 times Whittle's been bundled over as well, Matt. I'm not saying they're targeting her, but it's not going to please Antti Jagarinik, who's asking the question.
Yeah, you can see he's asking the question of the referee now for a little bit of protection from behind there, and absolutely no targeting. I think that last one was more clumsy than anything else. It's just one of those things where you're watching the ball and there's somebody smaller than you that you tread on. But something to keep an eye on.
It's coming together of feet, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Here's Whittle. Not that that'll make her feel any better, I'd imagine.
No, definitely not.
Always said back in the day, if you were targeted like that, it was because you were a decent player. Here's Pike. Faunus' touch was slightly heavy, but Berkeley's ball forwards. Asks Bunker to chase, and she will. Willing runner. James got there first, though. Rather risky ball towards Lauren Keir, who does well to get away from Palumbi. Bobbin to Keir again. Ball over the top for Whittle to chase. Now she's got the legs on McLaughlin here, and a chance perhaps for Whittle to square it up to Brown. She's going to get it back again here, Maddie Whittle. Still going all the way in on goal and straight into Vasta, who in the end stops it with her legs. It just seemed to open up for Whittle there.
Yeah, bit of a ricochet there down towards the end, but I mean it all started back here with Lauren Kerr. We mentioned the ball from James that maybe wasn't quite spot on, but she was able to deal with that very calm and composed and break down the line, and Whittle maybe feeling that she probably should have done better there.
Perhaps could have pulled the trigger slightly early once she got in. Here's Keir. It's going to fall for Bobbin. Crossing opportunity towards Brown. And she slid in to win the ball. And Canberra FC struggling to clear this at the moment. And in the end, a hefty pump forward from Wright finds Bunker. Her battle with Rashard is one to keep an eye on. Palumbi. But it's Belconnen United who are looking the more likely at the moment.
Yes, they've certainly looked far more threatening, and they're certainly pushing a lot more numbers forward. You can start to see on their attacks that they're really just leaving the extra man in defence and trying to overload and confuse that Canberra FC defensive line.
Great hustling from Bunker again. Brings something different to this Canberra FC team with work rate and enthusiasm up front, and something that defenders don't like when they're put under a lot of pressure.
No, definitely not. Adds a really nice dimension to Canberra FC there, and it's got the ability to create havoc and some turnovers there, and she's done that throughout the year, and that just makes every centre-back a little more accountable and a little bit more unsteady as they go to play that ball. Some
Nice
great skill
feet
there
from Hagen. Stepping away from two players. Can't find a red shirt, though, and Clark will send this forward, looking for Bobbin. Controlled it with a combination of a back and shoulder, it seems. It's a ball forward, and behind here is Palumbi. Chance for her, perhaps, to take on Keir, who stands strong. Happy to concede the corner.
Yeah, well done by Keir there. Great ball in to get Palumbi in behind, and something that I think Canberra FC will now start to think about: how do we get support for that person in isolation? Can we create the 2v1 opportunity to expose the isolated Belconnen United defender? I mean, corner's a good outcome, and now how do they use it?
The last couple have been a little disappointing. Maybe the delivery this time will prove to be better. Plenty of red shirts have committed forward, and it is a good one towards the near post, and it was won by Bunker, who couldn't quite steer it goalwards, but a much better delivery on that occasion and half a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. Good, nice delivery in it, and a good header there. That's a hard thing to do with the ball curling away from you and almost flicking it behind you at a 45 degree. And had it been on target, I think it might have just snuck in. So questions there for Belconnen come the next corner, and how do they deal with it? Because that was a free header and not something that'll please the Belconnen staff. Something that needs to be addressed at the next opportunity.
Clark at the other end looking to find Pike. It's a good-looking angle ball as well, and Bronte Pike might get in here. And she's got away from Goldstein, who stuck a leg out and has conceded a free kick right on the edge of the penalty area. Heart in mouth time there for Rachel Goldstein for a moment.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a nerve-wracking moment there as you make connection, and one, do you wonder if they call it, and two, where are they going to call it? Where did the foul occur? But a great opportunity here for Belconnen, and interesting to see how they use it with a different free kick taker again in this area.
Yeah, Brown with a left foot, cluster of blue shirts at the top of the penalty area. 5 of them, or 6 of them in fact in total, all marked by FC players, so it's very congested. Ball swinging from Brown, there's the header, and it's just gone wide of goal. I think it may have been Pike in the end who got on the end of it. Anything on target would have been a problem for Vasta. And they're causing their own problems here as Churchill gives it away to Bobbin. Second attempt, ball in towards Whittle. Brought it down nicely but couldn't get the shot away. Tamaro's pass has managed to find Goldstein. And there's that challenge between Bunker and Rashart, which is a duel worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah, absolutely. A really good early battle there. Both getting up their little victories, and that area there will be really key to see who can get on top. Can Rashard keep her quiet? Otherwise, goals galore, you'd start to think.
Well, do you think Pike would be disappointed she didn't hit the target with that header?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there was a clear opportunity there. That header is something that, you would almost describe as routine, and that's a couple of opportunities that Belconnen have had off their head now that they really should have hit the target and asked bigger questions of the goalkeeper.
They're getting closer, though. Vasta's had to make a decent save from Whittle with her feet. At the other end, Sally James largely unoccupied in terms of making saves. But the threat is there from Canberra, so you can see it. Tamaro and Price battling, and Price comes out on top. Munoz, hassled by Hagen, will get after Rashart as well. Steps in nicely, but is robbed by Bunker. And then she rather left that short for Churchill.
Yeah, interesting move there by Rashard. She's run into a crowd of players. You just start to wonder if maybe Sally James at the back there can be a little more connected so they've got the opportunity to play out to her and still keep control possession.
Palumbi wins it. Off she goes, looks to take on Rashart. In and out, still going. Brittany Palumbi, great run. This is still going. Palumbi into the air, fires a shot in as well, and it struck the post. Fantastic effort from Brittany Palumbi. Dribble past a couple, thumps the inside of the post. Danger's not over yet for the Blue Devils. And Clark says, just send it to the stands. Clearest opportunity for those in red so far.
Absolutely, Russ. Fantastic there. You spoke earlier about maybe a little bit of brilliance, and there was a sign of what somebody like Brittany Palumbi can do. She's turned 2 Belconnen defenders inside and out there and absolutely struck a gold of a shot that for all money she probably thought was going in. And, the sort of half a centimetre there, or the half a centimetre there makes all the difference. But that just goes to show the absolute threat that CFC have if Belconnen continue to switch off and allow them to run with that ball.
And the rebound could have gone anywhere and just fell kindly for those in blue. But a real threat from Canberra FC. Here's Hagan looking for Palumbi again. Keir's across, and she's going to have a busy night, I think, Lauren Keir.
Yeah, absolutely. That's now appears to be one of the major battles. We spoke about Goldstein earlier in the half and before the game, but Palumbi now really starting to come into her own and really starting to be the key threat there. And you think if they can get Goldstein firing on the other side, that spells big danger signs for Belconnen.
Brittany Palumbi is a renowned goal scorer. Used to be her and her sister going toe-to-toe to see who could get the most. I'm sure Ashley Palumbi's probably watching and thinking I'd have scored that. Ball swung into the area. Might fall for Goldstein. Sends it back to Hagan. Lofts one into the box towards Bunker. And it might fall here on the far post for Berkeley. And she may have done better other than put it wide.
Yeah, absolutely. Golden opportunity there falling to Berkeley at the back post there. Something that you could see the second she struck it, her head went back in disappointment. She's still got her hands, facing her hands there. But an area that she started to pop up in a couple of times, and something that I noticed in the Canberra United, their match against the Canberra United Academy last week, that as much as we focus on Gallic, that back post threat. Oh,
well, trouble here, and Bunker might be in. Real chance, and James recovers just enough for Clark to clear off the line. Real opportunity, though, for Canberra FC again. And Belconnen created it for them.
Yeah, mass confusion and communications issue there in that playing out aspect.
Meanwhile, here's Whittle to Bobbin. That's back to Vasta. And after a fairly lethargic opening, we've had some openings at either end.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that chance that CFC had was an absolute gift, and Belconnen lucky to dodge a major bullet there, and there'll be questions asked about what they do playing out going forward. Maybe potentially a little bit of nerves from Sally James, not being involved in the game too much, and the underweighted back pass certainly didn't do her any favours either, so maybe an adjustment required. Just for the next couple of minutes, as CFC have now got control, for them to start to Belconnen to settle things down.
Well, they need to defend this latest free kick. Karen Clark with the right foot. Swings a good-looking one in towards the far post. A bit too deep for anyone in a Belconnen shirt, though, and Bridget Wright happy to see it out for a goal kick. So after Belconnen having a spell where they look most likely, it's been Canberra FC for the last 5 minutes. Going close on a couple of occasions. Pike will chase. Will get their first header, Goldstein, and happy to concede the throw. 20 minutes left of the first half. Now at 110 minutes of football between these two sides this season, and still waiting for our first goal.
Interesting that the last couple of goal kicks from Canberra FC, they've been in a real rush to play that goal kick out as quickly as possible, almost trying to catch Belconnen unawares before they get the opportunity to press. They've just got to be a little bit careful there, because some of their passes are starting to produce natural pressure for them and causing them some issues.
You're watching Federation Cup semi-final action live on Bar TV Sports. Live and free, the home of grassroots football in Australia. No goals between Belconnen United and Canberra FC. No goals either, don't think, over at Olympic v Woden Western at the moment. Hoping to keep you up to date with that one. Both semi-finals running concurrently. Place in the Federation Cup final up for grabs, and we are no closer to finding out who that might be. Hagan looks for Berkeley. Goldstein helped it into the area, but Rashart was waiting. Happy just to get rid of it. And Galich defers to right in terms of the throw. Here's Goldstein. Perhaps a chance for Whittle to turn, but that's a good solid challenge from Galich.
Yeah, Maddie Whittle there, just getting a friendly reminder from Galich that she's there. She's going to have to do something a little bit more than a routine turn to get around her. She's got a great ability to identify the ball and attack it. And it'd be interesting to see how Belconnen attack this situation here, given they had the issues with the goal kick only a couple of minutes ago.
James went short to Rashart. Fauna. It's a good-looking ball down the wing towards Keir. Fantastic pass to find Lauren Keir. And that's a decent ball in towards the far post as well. Brown's there. No one really committed to it, though. Brown looks for Whittle. Shooting chance perhaps here for Maddie Whittle. And Vasta's low to save once more. Lovely ball in from Keir there, and a fantastic piece of vision from Fauna to find her.
Yeah, absolutely. Keir well in behind there, and possibly not picked up on or not proactive enough from Belconnen to get into that back post area, which won't make the Belconnen coaching staff very happy there as they look to build again.
Clark. Another long ball over the top for Bobbin to chase. Churchill battles well, and looks like she's won herself a goal kick, and she has. Well, battles all around the park, Matt.
Yeah, interesting piece of play there. So Belconnen almost going back to a little bit to what they were doing early on with that ball in over the top, but still that Belconnen 3 sitting very, very narrow. And I think if you're going to have them sit that narrow, they really need to start looking to find a couple of channels or finding feet early to get the rebound off, like we saw with Maddie Whittle's no goal off the offside earlier in the half.
There is no goals at Hawker because I've just been told kickoff's actually 7:30 over there now, so that would make sense. Thanks to Mitch Whedon for sending me that message. Started a little earlier here. Be freezing at Hawker by the time they finish out there, won't it?
There'll be plenty of frost.
Especially if it goes to extra time and penalties.
Oh, that's a late night.
Might be in for a late one here as well. No goals between Belconnen and Canberra FC. Galich is back there. Gets a foot in.
As we can see here again, Belconnen starting to again push numbers forward. They've got both wing backs, Lauren Kerr, starting to creep and drag her defender with her.
Price's touch finds Bobbin. Munoz, who's flitted in and out of it so far, finds Clark. Deep ball towards the far post again. It's overhit and the flag's up in any case. Just needs to take a little bit off it. We get the old pitching wedge out, as we like to say.
That's right, and I think those instructions given by Munoz there in the middle of the park, but potentially also Bronte Pike there, you might be looking for her to start that run from a little bit of a wider angle there. That gives her the best chance to attack the ball and attack the goal. So slightly narrow again.
Your expert comments this evening come from Matt Moore, former coach at the Canberra United Academy. He's taking a year off this year. Hopefully joining me in commentary later this season as well. Will definitely be with me on commentary on Sunday when we're at the AIS for Gungahlin United versus Monero Panthers in the Women's National Premier League. Before that, of course, we'll be at the Riverside Stadium on Saturday night for Panthers versus Tuggeranong United in the men's competition. Steve Forshaw joining me in commentary for that one as the football season kicks on here in Canberra. Plenty of action for you live on Bar TV Sports. All the matches, of course, brought to you this season in Cup and League. Been a very useful tool for the coaches as well.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no such thing as too much footage if you're an opposing coach, and maybe you can start to see some of the reasons why the attacking plays that have worked on for both teams earlier are starting to be nullified a little bit.
Brings a new dimension to the game for both players and coaching staff. This Price will dink over the top towards Whittle, and she goes down under the challenge of McLaughlin, and there was a question asked of Theodrakopoulos there, and maybe she had a case.
Yeah, something that, accidental, and you can see a little bit of an acknowledgement there from Canberra FC that, yep, I got you. But incidental, but yeah, absolutely a case there, and that's the sort of area you don't want to give Belconnen a free kick in with the amount of players that they've got who can whip a ball in there and potentially go direct to goal.
Well, Whittle knows she's been in a battle this evening so far. She'll be determined to answer in the best way possible that she can, which is to find the back of the net. Nice little turn there, and there is McLaughlin winning it in front of her.
Still looking that constant threat, Maddie Whittle, but probably needs to get the ball down at her feet a little bit more to expose that 1v1 skill that she has.
Just like she is doing right there. Little niggle out of there from Galich as well. Fauna looks for Keir. Runs into Hagen, but does win the ball back. Fauna again. Nice pick of the run of Price. Tamaray shadowing Price, not allowing her any space. And Churchill completes the clearance. Both these sides have league action on the weekend. Belconnen United welcome Wagga City Wanderers to McKellar Park, whereas Canberra FC make the trip to Southside for their fixture with Tuggeranong United. The battle at the top of the Women's National Premier League looking like it's going to go all the way. There was a twist on the weekend, of course. Canberra FC dropped their first points of the season that wasn't against Belconnen, a 2-2 draw against the Canberra United Academy, and it was a decent match.
Yeah, absolutely. Plenty of chances for both teams to win that. 2-2 at half-time and finished 2-2. And Canberra FC, I think, would have been walking off the field after that game disappointed, having hit the post a couple of times late, with potentially thinking they could have won it.
Well, they're a point clear at the top of the table, but they have played a game more. And we are expecting these two to go right to the wire in all the competitions this season. Canberra United Academy, of course, will have something to say about that, as will everybody else in the competition. Gungahlin United, only a couple of points off top spot after losing their first game of the season and then winning the next 4.
Yeah, Gungahlin starting to string a good run together there and really showing what they're capable of and how they could potentially be a constant threat. And that'll be an exciting game on the weekend against the Panthers.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. Slightly warmer, I think, Matt, on a Sunday afternoon at the AS.
I certainly hope so, Russ, but, being Canberra as we head into winter, I guess nothing's guaranteed, is it?
Yeah, it's a bit cold on that gantry. Pleasant evening at the moment here. No wind, so to speak of. As we come to the final 10 minutes of the first half, no goals in this Cup semi-final. Clark, as she's done for most of the evening, trying to find the long ball forward. It's not come off for her at the moment. And Goldstein, who's been something of a peripheral figure for FC. There's that ball forward again and whittled down again. It might come for Bobbin all the way through, and she's got there first. Real chance for Kira Bobbin to slide it in the empty net. And the player who wasn't on the match card 5 minutes before kickoff is the one that makes the difference. Kira Bobbin opens the scoring. Blue Devils in front.
Absolutely fantastic there for Bobbin, as you mentioned, coming off the bench. That desire and that intrigue there as the ball comes in. It's a 50-50 ball, and Bobbin absolutely committed to make it her own. The keeper made the decision to come, and you can't question that. But if you're going to do it, you've got to win it, because there's no one left behind you, and a calm finish from a girl who maybe would have been expecting to be still in a tracksuit at this particular point in the game.
Isn't that just the story of Cup football though, Matt? It's often the players you're not expecting. All eyes were probably on Whittle and Goldstein, the goal scorers, and it's Kira Bobbin who's come into the team, her second goal of the season. Berkeley looking to challenge and get FC back into it straight away, and she's won a free kick within shooting range as well. This will be a test for Sally James.
Yeah, absolutely there. So, Canberra FC will be happy that they're in an attacking position straight away and they can put immediate pressure on. Interesting to see what they do there and what they do here. Palombi, who we know can go direct to goal, or does she start to look to the targets? We mentioned Galich before, and Berkeley, who's been floating around that back post.
Well, after 2 hours of football, we got the first goal between these two. It would be ironic if within a minute there's a response. Palumbi's left foot or Hagen's right? It is Palumbi's left, and it's dipping, but it's going to dip just a little too late. And James had it covered all the way.
Yeah, Palumbi will be slightly disappointed with that strike on goal. I think she, not quite the dip that she wanted, and probably a little bit too central. Interesting to see how Canberra FC start to attack the game now. And Belconnen as well. Do they go for more of a possession aspect, or are they going to go for the throat?
Price runs into Galich. Hagen was cleaned out by Berkeley in the middle of the park. Bit of friendly fire.
Yes.
Well, it's a real test for Nick Brosnich and his team now, for them to find a way back into this match without shipping what might be a crucial second. Wright sends it forward, and it's been pinged for handball, I think.
You can see the pace here with Belconnen. They look like they're going through the throat. Munoz running on to try and get that free kick early. And you're right, Russ, interesting test. Not sure that they've been behind at all yet this year, so different mentality. And
Munoz with the free kick. Lifts it in. It's come off the back of Whittle. It's come for Fauna. Lined it up with the left foot, and Hagen just lamps it forward. Bunker helps it on its way, but Clark is able to pick up. Final 8 minutes of the half. Good ball that towards Brown. Stayed on side. Looks for Bobbin. A lovely ball in as well to Whittle, but the flag is up. this time too. Great first-time ball from Kira Bobbin. Confidence coursing through her veins at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a quality first-time ball. Unfortunate about the run, but Belconnen really seemed to have gone up a gear after that goal and has certainly taken their ascendancy, and I just wonder what Canberra FC might do to change it.
Good ball that from Samurai. Finds Churchill. Looks to find Palumbi. Good first touch. Gets away from Munoz. She's got runners either side, and if she could have gone to Berkeley, she may have been in, but instead it was a great tackle from Clark. Munoz finds Brown. Berkeley had acres of space there if she could have prodded that ball wide.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one that they might come to rue, but as you mentioned, quality tackle by Clark there as Canberra FC really need to try and find a way to get Goldstein a little more involved. Now she shined a little bit early, but started to drift out of the game, and Palombi's been the major threat, but she's going to need some assistance.
In general, though, the response has been good to going behind. That'll please Nick Brosnich.
Yeah, absolutely. No heads in hands, and still aggressively taking that ball, especially what's in the Belconnen's back third.
What he won't want to do, though, is concede a second before the break. Rashart to Clark. She's played a fair few long balls today, Clark, not on this occasion. Goes back to James, who's been tasked with sending it forwards. Via Rashart. Munoz. Good pressure here from Hagen. Real chance here for Canberra FC. Shooting chance for Hagen, and she's driven it, and it's a decent stop from James. Didn't have the pace to get away, but backed herself, and James is called into action.
Great save by James Munoz. Kayla Munoz, who's a veteran, somebody that you would not expect to make that mistake in that area of the field, but quality to pressure there by Hagen to go through, and the confidence to take it early. A great response and a great save by Sally James. First major save I think she's had to make in this opening half, and she
season perhaps.
And she did brilliantly. You couldn't ask more.
Fantastic stop, flinging herself to push the ball round the post. Corner for FC though. Good one swung towards the far post. Galich was challenging, and she's going to get another chance, you would think. Came off a blue head. I thought it came off a blue head. It did. 5 minutes to go to the half, and Canberra FC again threatening to pull themselves back into this cup tie. Decent delivery once more towards Galich. Palumbi chasing on the edge of the penalty area. Looking to get a shot away. Still going, Palumbi. Comes back to her again and fires one in, and that one was always rising. But confidence again from Canberra FC, and they are pushing it and taking it to Belconnen.
Yeah, absolutely. We wondered what the response might be to going behind, and it's been nothing but positive there. Palumbi coming to life again with an absolutely drill of a shot that had been on target. It would have put James absolutely to the test, and maybe a little bit of nerves there with James not hitting the target, and a little bit of panic maybe starting to settle in.
Well, FC looking to finish the half on a high, and they're doing it at pace. Speaking of which, here's Whittle. She's got plenty of it. Keeps it in, but runs into Galich. In fact, she didn't keep it in the end. Not had much change out of Ivana Galich, has she?
No, Ivana Galich has done a great job on Maddie Whittle so far today, and the only time she's been able to really get away from her, she's been offside. So that's an absolute credit to Galich there and how she's gone about her trade so far.
Rashart. Bunker putting her under pressure like she has before, and off she goes. And she should get a free kick for this. And I don't think they're quite used to the pressing game of Canberra FC. There's just no time for anyone in the back four to put their foot on the ball.
No, and you look at the results that they've had. They've probably in the last few weeks haven't quite had the same hit out that Canberra FC. You mentioned the 2-2 game against Canberra United Academy for Canberra FC on the weekend. That's probably given them a great lead up into something like this, where most teams have probably sat back against Belconnen in the last few weeks.
Yet another free kick. Yet another chance for Palumbi to lift one in. That's a bit deeper. It should be easy for James. And it is. Disappointing delivery from Palumbi. Hagen sent it back, though, and here's Goldstein. Looking to get away from Pike. Looks to come back inside. Berkeley's there. Uses her strength well. Still going, Jamie Berkeley. Looks for Bunker. And Keir clears. Not quite the measured clearances that we've seen from Belconnen in the past, and it's coming straight back to them again. Churchill to Bunker. And she looked for a player wide where she thought Goldstein may have been. But Nick Brosnich and his team on the bench over there, be buoyed by the response that they have to go 1-0 down.
Yeah, absolutely. You can hear a bit of noise from their bench and the positive energy that they're flowing through. Again, starting probably, you'd say, since the goal, had the better run of play and creating far more opportunities. A little bit of miscommunication there with the ball out to Goldstein, but that might give a little bit of confidence for the Canberra FC fullbacks to start getting forward as that space opens up as well and throw another dimension at Belconnen.
Can't imagine we'll have too much stoppage time at the end of this 45 minutes. Clark again, happy just to send it up the other end of the park. Fauna challenges. Whittle's there, and that's another thumping challenge, and a good one too from Galich. Here's Bunker. Looking for the run of Berkeley. Munoz has to get back to get involved. I wouldn't say it's panic in the Belconnen ranks, but it's not quite as calm as they usually are.
No, certainly unsettled, and you can see with the clearances and the way they're playing out and the pockets of space that are starting to develop, and Canberra FC is starting to really push forward with numbers. And that narrowing off from Belconnen United up front might be coming back to hurt them a little bit as they look for an outlet as they come out of the back half.
Rashart looks for Bobbin, whose goal separates the two sides. Rashart once more, and again another long ball forward and a rather aimless one too.
Yeah, one that started off with a little bit more control as they start to come out, and Canberra FC started to just drop a little bit, but again leading to nothing and a bit of a free pass there for Canberra FC to go again.
McLaughlin. Churchill skipped off the surface. Hefty hitter there from McLaughlin. And a chance in the final 60 seconds for Belconnen to finish on the front foot. Churchill gets in the way there. Now Palumbi. Berkeley takes it in strides. Palumbi. Tamaro's making a run forwards. Goes square to Hagen. Goldstein's got a bit of space, but Pike saw that a mile off. Brown. Clark again. Now Munoz playing for the deeper number 6 role this season and looking to spray balls forward like that one. Bobbin got that one all wrong. Rashart. A sense of urgency in this FC lineup as the seconds tick away at the end of the half. Nice turn that from Bunker to Berkeley. Goldstein, first time ball in. It's going to fall out for right. Clips it into the area. Palumbi to challenge. Churchill racing forwards. Gets there ahead of Lauren Keir. Into the penalty area here. Churchill, real chance if she pulls it back. It's ricocheting around. Might go for Palumbi. Does come for Palumbi. And Canberra FC get a deserved equaliser. On the front foot, a bit lucky with the ricochet, but when it came to Brittany Palumbi, no mistake this time, it's 1-1.
Absolutely brilliant, and you can't deny Canberra FC, their equaliser there. Fantastic pick up there by Churchill to go down the line. She beat Kerr, cut inside, looked for that ball. Yep, maybe a little bit lucky with the ricochet, but nothing lucky about the finish there. She's absolutely buried it, nothing that James could do. And the Canberra FC looks like now they'll probably be going in at half-time the happier of the two.
What a time to score a goal in the first minute of stoppage time. Brings us back all square. And it's going to be a corner for Belconnen United. Incredible end to the half.
I think this is the first time Rashett's gone up for a corner tonight too, so interesting that they're sending one more extra tall to put a bit more pressure on.
Brown with a left-footed delivery. Lovely ball towards the far post. Body's falling down in the area. Might come from Munoz, who drives it and off the line by Bridget Wright. Keeps her team square. It's been a goal at Hawker. Woden Western 1, Canberra Olympic 0 in the other semi-final. So Woden Western have the early advantage in that one. And almost a response from Belconnen United, and that would have been a real coach killer right on half-time. As it is, Matt, they get away with one. Bridget Wright clearing off the line, and an entertaining half draws to a close, and we're no nearer to knowing who's going through.
No nearer at all, and a half that's gone up and down for both teams there. Plenty of chances. We've started to see some goals, and maybe Belconnen will probably go in a little bit more of the disappointed of the two teams as they've started to let Canberra FC in, and the Canberra FC coaching staff will be absolutely over the moon, and interesting to see what tactical changes or personnel changes might be made going into the second half, because you'd think if it stays like this, Canberra FC maybe might just get over the top.
45 minutes to go, plus perhaps extra time and penalties to find out who will play in the Federation Cup final, as it is at half-time here at Deakin Stadium. Kira Bobbin's goal gave Belconnen the lead, but a strike in first-half stoppage time from Brittany Palumbi has brought Canberra FC level. It's Canberra FC 1, Belconnen United 1. Welcome back to Deakin Stadium's semi-final of the Federation Cup. At half-time, it's Canberra FC 1, Belconnen United 1 over at Hawker. A goal from Sophia Christopherson after 12 minutes has given Woden Western a 1-0 lead over Canberra Olympic. That game, though, started at 7:30. Our focus very much on the second half here. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator. Joining me, as he did in the first half, is Matt Moore. And Matty, it's been a good first half, and we thought Canberra FC were finishing strongly, but Belconnen could have stolen the lead again right on half-time.
Yeah, absolutely. Game really came to life in the second half of that first half, and Canberra FC certainly came home with a wet sail, and Belconnen with a late chance there with Munoz going through. So interesting to see how the response goes from Belconnen and whether the half-time interval causes a bit of a break in the momentum of Canberra FC or whether they can pick up where they left off there.
Well, Belconnen United doesn't look like they've made any changes, which means James will be in goal. Keir, Clark, Rashard, Pike across the back. Munoz, Price and Fauna in midfield. Whittle, Bob in their goal scorer, and Brown up front. Just casting our eyes around the Canberra FC team. Be very surprised if there's any changes there as well. It doesn't look like it. Vasta in goal. Wright, Galich, McLaughlin and Churchill there back four. Hagan, Tamaro in the holding midfield role. Berkeley just in front. Goldstein, Bunker and Brittany Palumbi, their goal scorer, in the front three. Theo Dracopoulos about to start the second half. Canberra FC attacking the goal to our right. 45 minutes to find a winner, or we're going to extra time and penalties to find out who will be in the cup final. Here's Wright sending the ball forwards. Clark with another one of those long balls. Hagan wins the header. It should be easy for Lauren Keir. Ball forward towards Whittle, who I think it must change out of the defence in the first half. Bobbin. Just to stretch the legs, taking on Churchill. Keir again. Nicely done to create a crossing opportunity. Decent ball towards Brown. And it will go out of play. Just out of your shot in front of us, Rachel Goldstein stuck a pair of gloves on. Fingerless gloves with a short sleeve shirt.
Well, we want creative footballers, and, that's a good start. And, maybe their hands are the problem. And still got the fingertips for the long throw, though, just in case.
To be fair, I've put my gloves on at half-time as well, so mine aren't fingerless, though.
I don't have gloves, so I might be fingerless at the end.
You probably will be. You'll learn to bring them on Sunday when we're at the AS for Gungahlin versus Monero Panthers. Myself and Matty Moore doing that one, and he'll bring his coat and gloves and hat and scarf and whatever else. Might even snow. Galich sends it forward. Good ball forward towards Bunker, but she took her eye off the ball at the crucial time. Clark's heavier ball. Now it's ricocheted to Whittle, and a real chance here for Maddie Whittle at the start of the second half. She's in on goal, and that's a brilliant save from Vassar to deny Belconnen's top scorer. Got a bit lucky with the ricochet to her, but when she was in, looked all intents and purposes she was going to score, but Vasta says no.
Yeah. Really getting on the end of a lucky opportunity there with Whittle, who's taken a knock. Gets a free kick, but the ball's rebounded off that Canberra FC defence and she was away. And you put odds on Maddie Whittle slotting that away there, but a great save there from Canberra FC and the rebound going away. And now they're about to be tested again, but you wouldn't want to give Whittle too many more one-on-ones with the keeper. She's had two already, and sooner or later she's going to bury him.
Well, Fauna's lining up this free kick right on the edge of the penalty area, on the corner of the box. It's be a difficult one if she can whip this in with a bit of bend on it. It might be an opportunity. Decent one towards the far post, and a free header and a goal from Jessie Rashard, unmarked, coming in. We talked about her quality in the air in the first half. She shows us, and Belconnen United regain the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. They've executed that well. We saw some free kicks early in the first half that bit overhit and underhit, and we mentioned late in that second half that Rashard hadn't really come up for corners or free kicks, and there you go, she came up for the last one of the first half and inserted there and has made an immense difference. But Canberra FC will be disappointed with their marking off that free kick there, that they couldn't get enough pressure on her. Credit
where it's due as well to a beautifully executed free kick from Alexia Fauna. Drifted it in just the spot that Rashard wanted it, and it was almost like slow motion once it came off her head. It drifted in. She knew it was going in as soon as she made contact. And Belconnen have an early advantage in the second half. Canberra FC's response was good to go behind 1-0. Have they got something in the locker? Here's Palumbi, who got them back on terms in the first half, looking to try one from her luck. It's dipping as well, and lands on the roof of the net. And Matt, the only, I guess, positive of going behind so early is there's plenty of time left to recover the situation.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely no need to panic from Canberra FC there, and they will absolutely do that in the knowledge that they've done it in less time and that they came home so strong that going forward, that you're right, with plenty of time, there will be plenty more opportunities, and we've just seen one there with the ricochet that's led to the corner, and do we get another immediate response?
Wasn't sure where the ricochet came from, but must have taken a touch as Pullenby let go with the left foot. As it is, FC have a corner. Decent knock into the penalty area, and James needs to come. She's dropped it. Can't she keep it out? It's ricocheting around. They're claiming a goal here. Did it cross the line? It doesn't seem to have. But that could have gone either way either. And almost an immediate response again.
Yeah, absolutely. Carnage in that 6-yard box there with Sally James spilling it. That'll won't do her nerves any sign of good. And looks like a couple of Canberra FC players appealing for a handball there as well. Not sure where that came from, but you know, it only takes one more slip and it's over. And contentious free throw given as well.
Well, they were claiming a goal, a handball, and all sorts of stuff in there as it is. None of it was forthcoming. And they still trail 2-1. Here's Whittle. Good challenge from McLaughlin. Goldstein. It's well worked up, and Bunker will chase here against Rashard, whose goal separates the sides. 2-1 to the Blue Devils if you've just tuned in. Clark's chipped ball looking for Bobbin. Keir's making the run outside her. But Churchill defends well, but then decides to try something a little bit trickier. Gets away with it. The pressure now is all Belconnen, pressing a lot higher than they were in the first half.
Yeah, absolutely. Really looking to lock it in there, and change of angle for the throw in there. I just start to wonder there, the ball that went into Bobbin, whether it would have been more beneficial for Keir to bomb on and really expose the channel herself, because the widest defender had been sucked in. We saw earlier in the first half that Keir can really whip a ball in, so if they can get her out there on her own, they might be able to add a couple more.
Well, if they do get the next one, Belconnen, it's a long way back, you would think, for Canberra FC. Although we know they're capable. Here's Berkeley. Goldstein. Looking for a runner down the line, but she has to come back inside because Pike has marshalled her very well there. Hagan finds McLaughlin. Churchill. And here comes the blue press again. Noticeably a lot higher up the park than it was in the first half. Munoz. Brown, who's dropped to the left back position at the moment. Clips that one forward, and a real chance here for Bobbin. It's a race between Bobbin and Vasta wins. Well, it seems like, whether it's just for now, Maddie, but Pike's pushed forward and Brown's into that left back position.
Yeah, a little bit of a change there. Brown did start higher up the park, so you wonder if this is something permanent as Maddie Whittle gets separation.
A chance for Maddie Whittle to take it on here, and she steps inside. Real opportunity for Whittle, and again she's denied by Vasta. That personal battle is going the way of the goalkeeper for the third time this evening. Maddie Whittle's been denied by the goalkeeper.
Maddie Whittle there able to outmaneuver the defender for probably the first real time in that 1v1, but Vasta again coming to her aid, and it looks like the 3 of the last 4 shots that Whittle's had, she's really zoned in, almost in between the keeper's legs. It might be time to start to loft one, because Vasta's going to ground early, so maybe you can start to lift one as she goes down.
I was just about to say the exact same thing, Matt. Maybe a different kind of finish is required. Here's Pullenby at the other end. She's twisting and turning and fires one as well goalwards, and this cup tie is end-to-end at the moment.
Brilliant football if you're a neutral supporter like us, Russ. This is absolutely brilliant. Pullenby again showing her class with a little bit of a nutmeg and starting to drive forward and still create havoc, and looks like Brown and Pike have switched back. So interesting to see if Canberra FC do the high press from here as well, or do Belconnen go long. What
I'm enjoying about it as well, Matt, is the chatter. Plenty of noise from both teams. Not always the case in the Women's National Premier League, is it?
No, absolutely not. And that sort of noise, especially in this kind of environment and this kind of a game, can really help drive the team forward and be the difference between success and defeat.
Really good header that from right, because Brown was lurking behind off of Clark's angled ball. Brown wins the header again. Price. Tamaro snapping at her heels. Pike down the line for Brown. Races on, and Wright gets away from Brown. Bit of a physical mismatch, that one. Here's Goldstein. right again. Not much other the fullback, is there? He's very small in stature, but big heart and very good defender.
Yeah, absolutely. Not much of it, but she's used her body well there and is able to manoeuvre Brown, and maybe that little bit of extra mobility gives her a little bit of an advantage.
Here's Whittle. She'll be wondering how she hasn't scored yet. Yes. Lining one up and trying her luck from distance, and her battle with Vasta continues.
Yeah, that one may be a little more out of frustration than design. I think they're under close attention from the Canberra FC centre-backs again, which she hasn't got much change out of tonight either.
She did say in the final last year she felt like she should have scored 5 or 6. She's had a couple of chances here today as well, and she'll keep plugging away, though. There's a reason she scored 14 goals this season. 11 in the last 2. Had a good season with Canberra United in the Westfield W League as well, with cameo appearances for Heather Garrick's side.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly made an impact when she came on, and I think being the second season makes it a little bit more relaxing, and you feel like you belong a little bit more the second time around. And she's proving here that she's probably ready to go around again if she keeps finding opportunities like this.
Here she is, finding Fauna, who was the architect of the goal that put Belconnen ahead. That pass not quite so good. Wins it back, though, and then promptly loses it again. Big shout for a free kick, not given. Here's Goldstein, bit of space for her, and she's shown too much of it to Rashard, who stretches the legs. Huge amount of space on the far side for Bobbin. Instead, she comes to the near side to Brown. Back to Munoz. Quick check to see where Bunker was lurking. Rashard, nice touch that. 50-50 coming up here and right into Munoz. You could see it coming a mile off, and credit to Bridget Wright for standing her grounds. Here's Bunker. Now a chance for Canberra FC once more. Palumbi in towards Goldstein. Haven't seen much of her as a goal threat yet, have we?
No, she's been a little bit quieter, starting to drift into the middle there. But intriguingly, that Palumbi, given the success she's had taking defenders on, didn't run at that defender and try and create something a little bit more on her own.
Well, it doesn't feel like the scoring's done here. It's a very open second half so far. 10 minutes of it gone, and Belconnen regaining the initiative thanks to Jessie Rashard's header over at Hawker. Woden Western lead Canberra Olympic in the other semi-final. 1-0. Here's Munoz. Good challenge from Hagen. Now then, is this a chance for FC? Looks for the run of Palumbi, and Sally James comes to collect. It's got a really good feel to it, though, Matt, in terms of a cup tie and in terms of a spectacle as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Intensity's gone through the roof since the second game, as we see a card here. That won't make people in the Belconnen technical area very happy. But
I think that was Fauna, was it?
Yeah, Fauna there with the first bit of cheese, and won't make Anne happy there in the technical area, but certainly Canberra FC pushing and pushing and pushing again. And I'm starting to wonder now, as we start to see Bunker occupy the 2 centre-backs, where there's a channel in behind them for Goldstein to attack, who we mentioned hasn't been much of a threat yet.
She's got a good size in her as well, and is decent in the air, so we'll see if she can go to the end of this one. James comes much more confidently than she did with the corner a couple of moments ago. Clutches it firmly. Another Academy product. Well, there's questions about Sally James about whether or not she would have been switched on to it, having had not much to do throughout the season, but she's certainly answered those questions tonight. Yeah,
absolutely. She's been called upon and stood up when needed. You think back to the first half with that diving save of that long-range shot, I think it was from Hagen, and brilliant. Yep, so she's had one spillage, but she's certainly not lacking the confidence. She came out and, as you mentioned, Rush took that free kick very confidently, and that'll be a nice rebound for her.
Doing well for a young goalkeeper. Here's a free kick, which Clark will take. A lot of noise from both benches as well. You can tell how much it means to both sides, this cup competition, and this rivalry is only going to get bigger and bigger as the season commences, you would think. Here's Pike. Looks for Keir. Chests it down. Here's Whittle looking to spin and find a pass to Price, and it was almost squeezing her through. Bunker, good switch that. Asking Palumbi to chase with Munoz. First yards in the head. Might not have the pace of yesterday, Kaylee Munoz, but she reads the game so well.
Yeah, absolutely. Outstanding football brain and somebody who's still capable of producing magic.
Well, here goes Whittle again in behind. Is this the moment for Maddie Whittle? No, it's not. Once again, Vasta stands strong.
Yeah, well done by Vasta there. We spoke about a different kind of finish, and Maddie's lofted that one. Maybe not by design, but under immense pressure from Gallic there, and she's done well to hold her off. But again, just missing that killer finish to really kill the game off.
How many more times, though, are Canberra FC going to allow Maddie Whittle in without a finish? Because sooner or later she's going to take one of these, and then it's going to be a huge task for Nick Brosnich and his team. Here's Tamaray.
That's right, Russ. And then if Whittle gets one, you worry if the weight's off the back and she gets 2 or 3, and that's an even scarier thought.
Well, especially considering that at some stage FC are going to have to push for this, aren't they? They're going to need to come looking if they want to play in the final. They need a goal, and they've got just over half an hour to find one. Live on Bar TV Sports. Deakin Stadium on a Wednesday afternoon in the national capital. Wednesday evening, I should say. Once again, there's a lot of talk going on here. I think Anthony Jagarinic might be talking himself into a yellow card at some stage. There's a bit of a chat here with Candida Mullets on the far side, his assistant, about something or other.
Yeah, a bit of debate as to whose ball it is, and an argument made that Munoz, given her intelligence of football, probably wouldn't let a ball run out if she wasn't going to get it. Hence the debate, and there we go.
Getting the throw. Well, there we go. Both sides laid out their case, didn't they?
That's right. Judges made the decision, and on we go.
Canberra FC have got it back anyway, so a bit of a moot point, I guess. Here's right. Goldstein. Infield to Hagen. Good football that from FC. Good ball from McLaughlin to Berkeley, and she tries to slide Palumbi in here. Real chance here if she can get there, and that's a good challenge from Clark, winning fairly high with the studs there, but got a fair good piece of the ball too.
Yeah, all ball first, but the follow-through was a little bit dangerous and something that we've seen given before, but she got across and covered nicely, and had she not been there, you'd almost back Palumbi to put that one away, given the one that she buried earlier.
It's a real sense of feeling between these two sides, isn't there? You can see something boiling over here at the moment because both sides are really committed to this.
Yeah, absolutely. As the tension builds with that 2-1 scoreline and those tackles start to increase and the desperation to find a way back in or to secure the victory with another goal, there is the opportunity that, or the chance that something boils over. So the referee doing a good job so far of keeping them under control.
Keeping a lid on the emotions as Krista Hagen lines up the corner kick. Bunker's created a yard for herself at the near post, and that's where it's gone, in towards Bunker, who treads on the ball, unfortunately, for those Canberra FC players. And that's a strike from Hagen, and ambitious efforts. Never really troubled Sally James in the goal.
No, so something that was maybe a little bit over-ambitious and a little bit exciting. Quick rush of adrenaline and, looking for the hero goal, and maybe the play was just to dink it up at the back post where you've already got the runners ready there to go.
Another goal at Hawker Football Centre, where it's now Canberra Olympic 1, Woden Western FC 1. So there we go, cup football, anything can happen. The team rooted to the bottom of the WNPL have drawn themselves level, we are told. Here it's Belconnen United who have the slight advantage, 2-1. But they're nowhere near home and hosed at the moment. Clark sends that forward to Bobbin. Here's Whittle. Tries to find Keir with the ball, but rather looped up off her foot instead. Hagen, always neat and tidy. Palumbi, and that's a tired-looking ball for Palumbi. Didn't fancy the run.
No, and that's where we saw her in the first half driving more, and fatigue will start to play a role in the back end of this game, and as substitutions come into play, who does what.
Lovely ball that is, and Whittle's got in behind here. It might roll for Pike though, and Wright needs to be careful. It is Bronte Pike, and she can't get away, and there's a little shirt pull there from Whittle, and that's a good piece of defending from Galich in the end. It could have fell between the two blue shirts right to where Bridget Wright actually wanted it.
Yeah, well covered there in the end. But threat's still there and prominent.
Yeah, these long balls from Clark are now starting to cause problems, and that's a free kick. Bronte Pike's brought that one with will fall to the ground as she felt the nudge from Ivana Galich, who picks herself up a yellow card, probably for an accumulation of fouls.
Yeah, so there's a couple of free kicks given her there, and we mentioned before the game that she's a little bit of an old school defender and not afraid to get into the physical stuff. So she'll have to be a little bit careful now, because the last thing Canberra FC will want to go down to 10.
Well, dead centre, probably around about 30 metres from goal. vintage Munoz range, you would think.
Yeah, you wouldn't bet against her.
Fauna's looking at it as well. She created the golf in the last one, of course, but it's touched to Munoz, who hammers it goalward, but it's always over the crossbar. Didn't have a lot on it. It's interesting that they took the touch there.
Yeah, so
Didn't think it was indirect free kick, was it?
No, I didn't see the hand up, but maybe just something to try and catch them unawares as they look for the direct shot on goal.
Well, that didn't trouble Vasta, who's had a great game in goal. Kept her team in it. Was headed from Brown. She's going to get there again, Kath Brown. Bronte Pike. Fauna. Now Clark. Looks up and goes again with the longish ball forwards. Run from Bobbin is the chaser, but she's not going to keep that in. And not quite got her radar right this evening, Karen Clark. She's put a couple in that have been dangerous, but most of the time they've been overhit.
Yeah, a bit too long and very, very straight. So I wonder if at some point, especially if it tightens up again, whether Clark starts to hit that angle ball in behind, maybe from the right side to the left side to get either a fullback or the left-sided winger up and behind.
It's Pike who seems to have reverted back to the left-back spot now, and Catherine Brown back up front where she started the game, and here's Clark looking for her. That's come off of bunker. Wright gets in, kicks it into her own face, I thought, but it's penalised for handball instead. Pretty certain that hit her on the nose.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you'd certainly be feeling it. So she's arguing the point, but no change out of the referee there. So interesting to see who delivers this one. They've had, looks like Clark's coming over to take that, and Rashard goes up again, who, as we saw, is already a threat. And as soon as I say that, she stays at halfway.
Kelly Munoz sent her straight back, going, no, we're 2-1 up. 25 minutes to go. We don't need you, Jessie. You've scored your goal. So Munoz has taken her position up in the penalty area. That one's lofted in towards Brown, who wins the header, and it might come from Munoz. Flags up once again. Offside. There's pulling seniority right there, wasn't it, Matt?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And having had an argument or two with Munoz in my life, I know better than to argue with her as well.
I'm guessing you didn't win them.
Absolutely not.
There's a chance for Fauna to step into midfield. Price. Munoz again. Rashart finds Keir. Good ball that is, and what a great run from Bobbin to get in behind. Now, can she deliver? She can't, because Alice Churchill is doing what Alice Churchill normally does, which is defend it very well.
Yeah, absolutely. Good work by Churchill there. Bobbin got the ball, but she didn't give her much room to work with there, Churchill, and made a very good tackle there. But danger not over. Interesting to see how Belconnen touch it. Munoz has let Rashard go forward this time, so we'll
release
see what
the shackles on Jessie Rashard. Said, get your head on the end of this one. Munoz has gone herself as well. Brown is going to take the corner. It's a great corner too, right where it needs to be on the penalty box. Good piece of defending from Churchill. Bobbin picks up the pieces. Will snap at her heels there from Galich. Had to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, that's what we mentioned before on the yellow card, and the question is, can she rein in that desire to have the physical contact? Because, as we mentioned, 2-1 down, one player down, doesn't bode well.
You like the fact that she's a physical defender and she wants to put herself about, but you've just got to be wary, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely, knowing when to use it and when to rein it in.
Brown with the latest corner, swings one in towards Vasta. Goes all the way across the face of goal. Might come back here for Rashard with a volley off the underside of the bar and not over the line. Jessie Rashard, like a centre forward, thrashing that goalwards, and the frame of the goal saves Canberra FC. Now Whittle running at the box, and down she goes under a challenge. No free kick on this occasion. Right should clear for Canberra FC. And that's a nice ball from Hagan towards Berkeley. And now Churchill. Berkeley again. Palumbi. Better build up this from Canberra FC. But Matt, that was almost the moment that sealed their passage to the final.
Yeah, absolutely. Quality strike there by Rashard. Side volley right towards that top corner can count herself extraordinarily unlucky, and something that ends up on everybody's highlight reel when you do that, as Canberra FC turned the ball over and Belconnen looked to attack, but Brown's turned it over as well.
Great effort that from Rashards. Must have thought that she would score her second of the night. Here's Munoz. Whittle. No chance for Keir to deliver, but couldn't get it across. Belconnen United, you sense, just upping the tempo a little bit, looking for that killer goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Canberra FC starting to get under immense pressure, and it's whether they can find that gear to keep going.
Good header clear from right. Finds Tamaro. Gets past the first challenge. Now wants Goldstein to collect, and does. Goldstein. Hagen. Twisting and turning. Tamaro. Bit of space here for FC. Hagen again. Well, just took her off it at the wrong time and allowed Bronte Pike to steal in.
Yeah, just that touch there in the end there by Hagen, because there had been quality build-up play from there, and if she'd been able to take that first touch, they'd almost isolated the two centre-backs there. That'll give the Canberra FC coaching staff and the players some really good feelings going forward, that they've still got the ability to break this team down. There's another free kicks given away there by Belconnen, and something that they want to be careful about. The more free kicks you give away, the more you're going to test the referee's patience, and that's not something that you want to push your luck with in the long run.
They're certainly not out of it yet, though, are they?
No, absolutely not. There's still the chance. The execution will be the key now. As you get more desperate, you start to get a little more fatigued, and how do you execute those skills, and what decisions do you make? Key is not to panic, not to rush, and stick to your plans, stick to your guns, and stick to what's got you here in the first place and got you right back in the game the last time you were one goal down.
Price. Hagen not happy because Dracopoulos got in the way there, the referee, and this would be a horrible goal to concede off the back of that. I think Theo Dracopoulos will be heaving a huge sigh of relief. Eleanor Jones equalised for Olympic. And Whittle goes down on the edge of the box under the challenge from Galich. And she's going to escape sanction there, which she's perhaps a little bit fortunate to.
Maybe
we don't want to see players sent off.
No, absolutely not. And maybe one of those ones where the referee thinks, well, the ball was passed, there was no malice in it, you've had your warning, and that might be enough. But dangerous position here to let Caitlin Munoz take it on the right side of the field with her left foot. This could go absolutely anywhere. We've
seen Munoz from free kicks already this season find the target. Caitlin Munoz fires it goalwards, and Vasta down low pushes it past the post. Didn't have the pace, but had the direction.
Yeah, absolutely. She found that bottom corner at that near post there, and hard to get down because the keeper sees that late. So then to push that ball around the post, Vasta again showing her worth and keeping Canberra FC heavily involved in the game and making sure that they've still got a lifeline to the final.
Kath Brown with the corner kick for Belconnen United. Pulls it back to the edge of the box for Fauna. Thought about the first time shot, didn't trust herself. Huge amount of space for her to strike one. And Palumbi sends out forward, and it's a foot race, which bunkers after, but James is well out of her goal to read it. Does well, finds Rashart. Under pressure from Hagen, who rides the back of her. Rashart then goes through Keir as well. There's probably 3 fouls there from Chris Hagen. Wry smile on her face. But at the other end, Alexia Fauna perhaps could have had a pop there.
Yeah, absolutely. Surprised she didn't hit it first time. She's a young player who loves to score a goal and has got the ability to do that. She can rifle a shot in from anywhere, and maybe just a little bit of nerves or not quite set as she comes on her right foot, and maybe set a little more for her left.
Clark hoiks it forward towards Munoz. It's going to find its way through here to Brown. Wanted it on the left rather than the strike with the right foot. Munoz again. Fauna. Bobbin. Price, and that's going to be picked off by Churchill, and a chance for the red shirts to flood forward again. Rashart's there, though. Very composed performance. Bunker gets stuck into her, though, and here comes Churchill. Challenging back is Keir. And Churchill did enough to force the throw in.
Yeah, animated on the bench there as well. You can tell the competition's heating up, and players getting more and more involved as time ticks down. You can't help as a player but start to look at the clock in this position and wonder, how long have I got to go before we're done to win, and how much time do I have left to get us back into it?
I'm sure it was a rhetorical question, Matt, but to answer it, just under 17 minutes plus stoppage time. Still plenty.
Still plenty.
Here's Goldstein. Ball clipped forward by Hagen, asking Wright to chase. Price is back with her, but Wright is going to win this race. Tries to take on Price. She had Tamaro back behind, which might have been the better ball. As it is, the upshot is a throw for Canberra FC. Tamaro's intelligent run allowed Hagen the space. That is Tamaro. Here's Goldstein. Tries a left foot curler. Clark decides that she'll take control of it. Didn't have the pace really to trouble James, but Clark didn't want to take the risk.
No, a bit risk averse there with 2-1 up. You don't want to be making the mistake that allows them back in.
Goldstein's touch. Looking to create space for a cross. Good ball in towards Bunker. He's going to get the ball back again here, looking to spin Rashart in the area, and the defender uses all of her experience to stab it away. But it's a good spell of pressure, this, from Canberra FC.
Yeah, absolutely. Canberra FC now got it down their preferred end of the pitch and are really trying hard to lock it in. Great defence there by Rashart to get that foot in front after being spun. Question is now, can CFC maintain it in here, and how do Belconnen alleviate the pressure that's currently on them?
Right with the throw. Goldstein, nice touch. Twists onto the left foot again. Hagen, chance to load this into the box. Good one in, flying header clear by Clark. Fauna, and the ball bounces up, hits her on her hand, and free kick in a dangerous situation for Canberra FC to threaten.
Yeah, very dangerous position there. We mentioned it with Caitlin Munoz before, and Canberra FC with a couple of options here themselves. Is it a Palombi? Is it a Galich with a long-range pile driver? Or is it the little dink in behind to ask some different questions of that defence? But sustained pressure, producing a result there for Canberra FC.
Well, Galich walks away from it. It's going to be Palumbi. You feel that she's going to go for goal here?
I'd still like to see Galich stay up there and potentially be a header option.
It's Palumbi driving it goalwards, and it dipped a la Ronaldo, but didn't have enough pace to trouble James, who comfortably took it and then tries to send Bobbin on her way. And you may have heard what Galich thought of her touch there.
Not one of her finest, and she acknowledged that straight away. Interesting to see if Canberra FC do an aggressive press here towards that middle third, and you wouldn't want Belconnen to creep much further.
Right, takes it in her stride. Bunker, who's worked tirelessly. Still going. Right once more. Wants the run of Goldstein, and Pike just lets that run across her body. Clark. This is going long again, looking for Brown. Overhits once more.
Goldstein there just a little bit undecided or unaware of where the delivery's going, and you know, as we tick down with potentially 15 minutes to go, this is where the coaches start to think about, all right, what changes do I need to make? And maybe it's a change of shape or a change of structure, but I think possibly Goldstein towards the middle of the field in either a running 10 role or a 9 role to get her more involved could have a really positive influence.
Well, there's movement on both benches as we approach inside the final 15 minutes. We'll be able to see some changes here. Canberra FC first. Brittany Palumbi, who's worked incredibly hard, has come off, and she's been replaced by Vanessa Ryan, the former Canberra Olympic forward. So, like for like, you'd think?
Yeah, like for like there. Interesting call. You'd think that maybe it's Palombi's starting to run out of legs a little bit, because she's certainly been one of the key threats going forward and been their main threat from free kicks as well. So, a little bit of a change there. But Ryan, no slouch in front of goal, and somebody who can absolutely make an impact there.
She scored a goal this season, Vanessa Ryan. The Belconnen United change. This is Clark coming off, I believe. Is that Karen Clark?
Yeah, Karen Clark coming off there. So changing the centre of defence. And I'm not sure who's gone on.
I think it's Jazz Zabel, the former Monero Panthers defender, who's popped in there to fill in the role. And this will be her first involvement. And Rashart sends it up the other end of the park and asks Bobbin to chase. It's a good ball forward as well, looking for Tamaro to chase onto it, and Rashart will go back to James. Oh, and that's a bit short. That had Bunker interested for a moment.
Yeah, absolutely there. Bunker's eyes would have lit up, and disappointed that she couldn't quite get there. And interesting to see if it's part of that change with Clark coming off is the effect that Bunker's had on the two central defenders there and the pressure that they're on.
Zabel's first involvement, and Fauna tried to feed it through. The deflection fell nicely for Canberra FC. We're into the final 12 minutes, and time is ticking away. We'll have a few minutes of stoppage time as well, but Matt, when do they throw the kitchen sink at this?
I think if it stays like this, with 10 minutes to go, that's when you've got to really start making some really big tactical changes, and whether that be pushing high numbers up the park and you go a little bit longer, you've got some height. Do you start to maybe move a Galich who's possibly under a bit of pressure defensively higher up the park to be a bit more of a physical presence? Do you shift to a 3-5-2 so you've got that natural width and your goal scorers in Bunker and Ryan?
We'll have another change here. It looks like Leah Carnegie's about to join the fray, and Alexia Fauna is the one to make way.
Looks like Maddie Whittle's going to shift into a right back role as Lauren Kerr comes into the middle, and Zabel coming into the centre of the park. So maybe a little bit worried about the pace of Ryan there, and trusting Whittle to come in and get the job done.
And Carnegie is a pacey forward, and she will get opportunities, you'd think, as the game ticks on. And here is a chance for Brown, and she's gone for goal, I think, from distance. Other than that, it was the worst cross I've ever seen Catherine Brown put in.
I think she's seen the keeper off the line there and liked her chances, but you could hear out in the technical area there, just maybe giving a shout out that next time, a bit more composure.
Hagen, she has been composed throughout the whole game. And here's Churchill looking to find Ryan, her first involvement as well. Vanessa Ryan, the substitute, and lines one up and chips one into the area, and Bunker was an absolute mile offside. The flag did go up against her, but no need to stop the game. James goes down the middle. Berkeley wins the header. Price picks up the loose ball, and there's Galich. Now Ryan rolls the challenge. They want a free kick, Canberra FC. Nothing happening. Bench was up really quite vociferously for that one.
Yeah, Whittle tacking the ball at great pace there, and that's something that'll bring a different dynamic to Ryan, and that leading to the calls for a free kick. But Ryan had the ball, and the refs decided to play on.
Real forwards challenge, wasn't it, for Maddie Whittle, asked to play at fullback. Probably to counter, as you say, the pace of Ryan as the game ticks on into the final 10 minutes. Belconnen United, 10 minutes plus stoppage time away from yet another Federation Cup final. And that one sliced through, and it might be a chance for Bobbin to chase. Vasta comes out to clear. And they would fancy their chances of defeating either Woden Western or Canberra Olympic in the final. Carnegie, although stranger things have happened.
Absolutely, you see it in every cup competition around the world. You just never know who's going to pop up and win on the day, whether you've been top of the table for 5 years or, battling relegation. Anything can happen. It's those key moments.
Don't know how much football you watch from overseas, Matt, but Paris Saint-Germain were hot favourites for the French Cup this year, and they lost to Rennes, I think it was, wasn't it? For their first cup success in many, many moons.
Yep. And big disappointment to PSG through there, who would have expected to walk away with that one quite comfortably.
Absolutely. So it can happen. And there will be anyone's game in the Federation Cup final, that 90 minutes. At the moment, it's Belconnen United who will be one of the finalists, looking to put that to bed. The ball in towards Price. Tamaro's there. Up towards Goldstein. Challenges with Pike. Here is Bronte Pike. Steps away from Goldstein. Has to go on her own, and she's not afraid to do so. Into the box. Wright makes the tackle. Wright wants the goal kick. It's going to be a corner, though.
And it looks like Catherine Brown's just shifted into that central forward role now, so leaving a couple of...
She's jogging over very quickly when I think the bench are trying to get it to slow it down a bit.
Yeah, 2-1 up, not 2-1 down with 7 minutes to go. Something that you'd like to see them take their time a little bit
like
more.
A jaunty winter's walk to the corner. Brown, though, eager to get on with it. Swings it in. Header goalwards. Isn't going to trouble Vasta. We're going to see a change, I think, shortly. Might be Lucy Darcy who's coming on for Canberra FC. Here's Munoz looking to slide it through. Chance here for Brown on that left foot. She lines one up and went early, and perhaps too early. Had plenty of opportunity to take that forwards.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good ball in behind there by Munoz, and the opportunity for Brown to probably drive in a goal a bit more and ask some more questions of the central defence. Maybe changing the angle to allow you to square up, or if they hold off, then you're buried in that far corner.
Amy McLaughlin is making way. And this is a number 8, Sharon Chow.
So on comes another striker there, and Canberra FC now starting to get to that kitchen sink moment as they look to essentially go to a front 4.
Well, they do. May as well go for it. Galich asks a fair bit from Goldstein, who does well to win the header and send it infield. Berkeley's there. Here is Goldstein. Nice touch that. Gets her away. Real opportunity this for Canberra FC. She's got runners outside her. Vanessa Ryan's one of them. Skips away from the marker. Whittler who pulls her down, and that's a penalty to Canberra FC. Conceded by Whittler. A little shirt pull on Vanessa Ryan. And here is a chance for FC to come back level again.
Well, first real time we've seen Goldstein heavily involved in the attack there, and she's played the ball out wide well to Ryan, who's, to her credit, turned Whittle who's then turned around and made a desperate challenge with a shirt pull, and the referee, from where we sit, Russ, left with no option but to give the penalty. So, chance for somebody to, be a hero.
6 minutes to go plus stoppage time. This could send us into an extra half an hour. Ivana Galich has the ball on the spot. Sally James between the sticks. Galich for Canberra FC. Up she comes and hits the crossbar. It's loose again. Galich puts it home. It won't count. The flag was up anyway. Now, did James get a touch on the ball? Because if she did, that goal should count. The conversation.
Have we got encroachment?
Well, did she come off her line? What are we going to see? With Theo Dracopoulos has a decision to make here, and it's a retake of the penalty, I believe. Sally James came off the line. She's been caught for encroachment off her line for going too early, and now a second chance for Galich. She went for power last time. We're still having a conversation, and what's happening here? They've given the goal, in fact. Well, confusion reigns. And Theo Dracopoulos has given a goal to Canberra FC. I'm not entirely sure what's going on here, because if she did encroach and she scored, Matt, your take on this?
I don't really know what to say, Russ, I'll be honest. That's a confusing moment there. The only thing I can assume is that James has encroached. She's got a touch on the ball that's hit it into the crossbar, and Canberra FC finished it off. But Belconnen asking the question as to what is going on and why. But at 2-2, what's done is done, and now it's how do you get your head back in the game with 3 minutes left. There's still, we've seen it with 3 or 4 or 5 minutes left in the first half. We saw shots on goal galore. But interesting to see how it goes now.
Well, I think that's the right decision, because I think James did get a hand on it. She pushed it onto the crossbar, which means the ball was alive, and Galich is allowed to go for the rebound. She tucked it away, so the encroachment for the goalkeeper shouldn't matter. And in the end, I think we got the right decision, but it was a bit confusing between the officials as to how we got there. And I think we could hear Theo Dracopoulos apologising to the Belconnen players, because he should have just given the goal in the first place. I think when they get into the changing rooms after this and they check that out on the replay, they will feel that he has made the right decision.
That's right, and that's the important thing there. And you've got to give them credit for getting it right. At the end of the day, it's easy even for referees to get spooked in the big moments, and credit to them for getting it right here. But what do Canberra FC do now? They've made a couple of changes to throw things at the kitchen sink. They've already adjusted their formation back to more of a 4-3-3. Goldstein drifting into the middle with Sharon Chow coming out wide. And how do Belconnen deal with the disappointment?
The upshot is, despite what the scoreboard says, it's 2-2. And we have 90 seconds, or 2.5 minutes, I should say, plus stoppage time to go. Carnegie swings it into the penalty area. Wright playing as a centre-back now. Gives it away to Fauna, who goes down as well. And there's a question to be asked too. And they said there was a bit of ball on that as well. That could have gone either way. Goldstein sends it forward towards Ryan. Whittle, who gave away the penalty. Not been her best evening's work. Ryan's off, bunkers off and chasing rather. Keir back to James. It was a bit unfortunate. Oh, she's made a hash of this. Unfortunately, gets the ricochet.
It's heart and mouth stuff there. If you're a coach, a fan, or a neutral like ourselves, Russ, just a little bit of nerves.
Amongst all of that, can we just congratulate Sally James on what was a great penalty save?
Absolutely, absolutely. To get a touch on that and hit the crossbar, and you're right, Russ, we've missed that. For a young girl
Fantastic
to
stop.
stand up in a cup final or semi-final and tip that onto a bar. Well done.
This may have gone a bit early, but it was still a heck of a save. Keir brings them into play again here. He's got to be a bit careful as Chow goes looking. Keir. Pike. Runners ahead of her. Still going, Pike. Bobbin, who'd peeled away to this left-hand side, stayed on side. Got a couple of yards on right to send it in, but it's picked off by Galich, who chips it forward for Bunker. Keir close behind her. Goes down, looks for the free kick, and does well there, Mel Bunker, to buy that one for a team.
Yeah, well done. And I think Lauren Keir, with her experience, probably look at that in hindsight as an unnecessary free kick. Bunker wasn't going anywhere, and you're just inviting pressure now.
And Bunker used her experience there to go over when she felt the contact and win herself a free kick. And a chance, perhaps, in the final 30 seconds for Galich to loft this into the area and Canberra FC to come away with the most remarkable of comebacks. It's been a season for comebacks in football. Have we got a dramatic ending to this one? Swung into the air. Rashard gets rid of it. Galich looks to send it again. Goldstein, good touch that, looking for Chow, who wasn't quite on her bike at the right time, allowing James to grab it. And as we enter stoppage time, Matt, who's in the ascendancy?
Well, I think it's probably a tough one to call at the moment, Russ. It's a little bit frantic, and I think both coaches will probably be happy to get to full-time and move into extra time so they can settle everybody down and go, assuming that we don't have even more late drama that's coming their way.
Well, it might not all be over yet. We might not need extra time. Is this the moment for Belconnen United? Lauren Keir, long way from goal. Can she deliver a pinpoint ball forward? It's bounced off. It's a chance for Munoz on the turn. Sends it goalwards. Didn't catch it at all, but what an opportunity for Caitlin Munoz. Suddenly found herself free inside the penalty area.
Yeah, something that you look back and you think, they're not quite connecting the way she'd like, but had she done, dangerous situation for Canberra FC.
Well, it's not often Anthony Jagarinic gets decisions that could be questioned, and perhaps taking off Fauna and making that change and putting Whittle the fullback has backfired on him somewhat.
Yeah, it's one of those things as a coach, isn't it? If you get it right, you're a genius. If you get it wrong, people start to ask questions. And I guess there's still a little bit to be played out here. As
Chow looks to send it into the penalty area. Pike does well to stand up. Gets it back again. The substitute swings it across the area. It's a dangerous one too. No one in the red shirt had gambled. Here's Brown. Munoz looks for Bobbin if she takes this forwards. Tamaro defends well, though. She's been dropped into that centre-back position, and she read that very, very well.
Yeah, and possibly some concerns here for Canberra FC heading into extra time with Bunker limping in the back play here and trying to get back on side. But Canberra FC looking to push for that one last opportunity that you wouldn't count against them given their quality to bury.
Well, heading for extra time here. Not heading for extra time at Hawker at the moment. Wern Western regained the lead. It's 2-1 against Canberra Olympic. Here's Goldstein. Bit of space for her to move forwards. Chance here for Hagan in space if she could find it, but the pass wasn't good enough. And Rashard just picks it off. And referee Theodrokopoulos says that's enough, and we will have an extra half an hour of extra time. And Matt, a terrific game of football between two sides here in Canberra who've set the benchmark for the women's game this season.
Yeah, absolutely. They've set the benchmark, and they're living up to the hype here too. Absolutely end to end at the back end. Their intensity is still going strong, and you now start to think who can maintain it, who can push forward and go through into extra time and make the difference. We've got people stretching, and cramp starts to play a part. Injuries, and for the changes that you've got on the bench, who can make the most impact, and when do you make those changes? It'll be a key decision here from both coaches. What do they do? And a nice show of sportsmanship there between the two keepers who touch gloves on the way past as they head in. But a real good chance here for both coaches to settle both teams and reiterate their messages going into the extra time and how they're going to progress and the key areas that they feel that they can get on top with. And are there any changes? Does Maddie Whittle go back up front? As you mentioned earlier, does she go back on front? Do they change it? Do they move Catherine Brown back into the back line? With Canberra FC bunker limping a little bit. They've now got the 4 strikers on the pitch, and how do they best utilise that and get their key players involved? And maybe Berkeley's one of those ones who's been a little bit quiet in the second half. Maybe she's someone who can spring to life in this extra time.
Well, half an hour still to go here. Bang, bang, as my text message says, over at Woden Western. 2 goals in a minute for them. They're 3-1 up over Canberra Olympic. They are on their way to the Federation Cup final, where, unless Olympic, of course, can find something back, where they will meet either Belconnen United or Canberra FC. We're going to take a couple of minutes break while we do so, and then we'll be back with myself and Matt Moore for extra time. But at full time here, it's Belconnen United 2, Canberra FC 2. Welcome back to Deakin Stadium, the first period of extra time in this semi-final of the Federation Cup, live on Bar TV Sports. Belconnen United 2, Canberra FC 2. I'm Russ Gibbs, still your commentator, and still with me is Matt Moore, although getting a bit colder, Matt, as the night progresses.
A little bit chilly, but the football is definitely hot, Russ. I mean, we've seen some end-to-end action here, and interesting to see how they all adapt going forward. No major changes look like they've been indicated yet, but how do you respond? What do you do? And as the temperature drops and as the players start to cool down with this break, who can start the quickest?
It will be difficult. It'll be interesting to see which one it is. We did have a bizarre odd ending to that game with the penalty from Galich. We think we got there in the end. The correct decision from the referee and his assistants. Just the manner in which they got there was a bit confusing for the players, but nice to see that nobody really questioned it once they'd made the decision. And Galich's penalty, rebound I should say, made it 2-2. And I'm going to put you on the spot, Matt. Who's winning from here?
Who's winning from here? Look, my head tells me Belconnen, just the experience that they've had and the amount of times that they've been in this situation. I think that's possibly enough to get them over the line. And Canberra FC missing Grace Gill, I think has an impact the longer this game goes on. She's quite a calming influence there. And although with Belconnen missing Michaela Day in the middle of the park, it probably puts a little more pressure on people like Caitlin Munoz to see out the extra time.
It's a name I was going to mention. We haven't mentioned her all day. Michaela Day injury forces her out tonight, but her energy in the engine room has been missed by Belconnen United, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see with the way that they've set up in the first and second half there that they've had two people sit much deeper, and it's meant that they haven't had that box-to-box player that Michaela Day can bring, and it means that Caitlin Munoz becomes far more important. And in that extra time, if you start to take her away, it puts a lot of pressure on a very young midfield.
Well, one thing is for certain, Matt, within the next 45 minutes or so, we're going to get a result. Within the next half an hour if it's in normal time, and then from penalties. Either way, we'll have a finalist of the Federation Cup known sooner rather than later, as Carnegie rather tries to get in with an early challenge. Nicely done from Hagen, who's run the midfield quite nicely for Canberra FC today. Here's Whittle. Brown. Zabel. Whittle. It's not been a day. Maddie Whittle had 3 or 4 chances to perhaps win it for Belconnen, then conceded the penalty, which put FC back on terms.
Yeah, absolutely. She'd be disappointed with the finishing and then the penalty as well, and there's probably a little bit of doubt in her mind the next time she's in that situation as to how she approaches it.
Here's Zabel, looking to get involved. Nice turn from Hagen. Bounced off Bobbin though. Carnegie looks to slide Bobbin in. She opened the scoring. Seems like a long time ago now. Alex McKenzie and Anna Vandenbruch, the goal scorers for Woden Western. 3-1 up and looking like they're on the way to the Federation Cup final. Ryan keeps it in play. That should be a Canberra FC ball. In fact, it's not. Looked like it came off Brown last from our vantage points.
Yeah,
it did.
Yeah. Belconnen United persisting with those narrow channels in the front 3 there, and potentially it's the change of the run now for the wider players who are coming narrower. How do they get in behind that last defender, setting outside instead of setting in between, because it's taking away the angle of that ball.
Here's Brown looking to put Carnegie into space here and looking to get the shot away, and that's a good piece of defending from Galich, showing that she can do it at the other end of the park as well. Throw in for Belconnen. Didn't get much time to celebrate her goal, did she? In and amongst the confusion.
No, not at all. But knowing Ivana, all business.
Yeah, she took the ball back to the centre circle very quickly. Carnegie. Good ball in towards the front post, but Vasta's there. Plenty of players have had good games tonight, and she's one of them. In goal. He's had a fair old thump down the park as well. Anthony Jagarinic has been in this situation before against Canberra FC, of course. There'll be no panic from him.
No, a good person to have any technical area to see you through and calm you down, any nerves or tension that you do have. He's somebody who's able to give you clear info and help you to walk through any tight situation. And looks like Catherine Brown's now shifted back to that left back row.
And Whittle's gone up front, which is perhaps what maybe should have happened earlier. Easy to say from up here, though. Galich with a foot on the ball and looks for the runner. Chow will chase. But Brown just rolls it back to a keeper, and James can start again for the Blue Devils. Looking for that angle ball for the run of Bobbin or Whittle. Good win from Churchill. Berkeley. Now Goldstein. Drifted infield. Looks for Ryan, but Pike should win there. Win the ball first, and does. Munoz plays it into Goldstein, who stretches away. Now here's Ryan making a run outside of Vanessa. Ryan could be in on goal here. Strikes it goalwards, but that's not got the pace to trouble Sally James. But for a moment, she got goal side.
Yeah, absolutely. A nice little ball in there from Goldstein, who we've mentioned maybe could be more influential in the centre, and started to drift in there, and she's got Ryan in behind. Ryan maybe still getting a feel for the game, having come on late, but warning signs of the first real shot of anger in the extra time.
Churchill. Caught in two minds there about going back to the keeper or coming down the line. In the end, she uses her strength and persistence to win a free kick. Given the free kick, Canberra FC come from behind twice now. Showing great perseverance to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I asked a question earlier how they respond from going behind, not knowing if they'd been behind all year, and you can give them nothing but credit for the way that they've reacted.
Playing with a lot of confidence, as you'd expect with a side at the top of the table. Here's Bunker. Flag goes up against her. Really showing that Belconnen United, if they want to win all the trophies again this year, are going to have to do it the hard way.
Yeah, absolutely. And, nothing that's ever worth anything comes easy. And both teams putting on a real show and showing how much the Federation Cup means to them.
This is a match worthy of the final itself. As Berkeley steps away. Tamaro. Nicely worked around that Canberra FC, creating space for Churchill. Goldstein wanted defeat. Didn't get there and thumped forward by Bobbin. Nicely taken down by Galich. Vasta will have time to just clip this forward. Goldstein, who's come into the game a bit more in the last 15 minutes of normal time and in extra time. Kier. Churchill got in ahead of Pike. Wanted the free kick, didn't get one, and there'll be a Belconnen throw.
Yeah, just that ball from Kier a little bit short there, a bit disappointing. With Pike having plenty of space in behind, and Belconnen not really having a central presence to control that middle of the park at the moment. And Canberra FC looking slightly more comfortable, but by no means suggests that the Belconnen are drifting out.
I'll tell you who's not comfortable, any of us up here. The temperature is plummeting, isn't it? And it's getting very, very cold.
It is on its way. I think I've still got a couple of toes left.
Is it in the minuses yet? Probably. Not many toes left. Get the car going and the heats are going. Players still putting the effort in, so we have to as well, Matthew.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Brown with the throw. Munoz looks to lift it forward in front of the Ivan Bullum stand. A few hardy souls come out tonight to watch the semi-final on the far side. Fair more hardy souls watching it at home in the warmth. Munoz finds Brown. Drifts away from Chow. Carnegie. Bobbin. Whittle. He's got a bit of pace as well, Whittle we know. Cuts inside. Looks it back for Bobbin, who curls one. Chipped it goalwards, and that wasn't too far away. I think he had Vasta backtracking and worried.
Yeah, absolutely there. Nice little run there from Matty Whittle and the turn and the layoff. It was a great strike there. I think it had Vasta beat, had it been on target, well and truly. And starting to have a more positive effect again, Whittle, but starting to see a few players slip.
Price finds Whittle, goal side. Real chance here for Matty Whittle. Squares it for Carnegie. Can she get the shot away? No, she chose to go backwards to Price instead, and the chance goes awry for Belconnen United. That was an opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely, and maybe a little hangover from the missed efforts earlier from Matty Whittle, because that's sort of an area where you'd really expect her to be pulling the trigger and trying to bury that ball.
Bobbin does pull the trigger, but didn't have enough elevation to trouble Vasta. I thought Whittle may have pinged that one goalwards. Whittle battling for it in midfield, and there's a ball from Hagan over the top, asking Ryan to chase. The flag stays down here, Vanessa Ryan. Always drifting away from goal, though, so comes back to Goldstein. Good first-time ball into the area. Rashart wins it. Price needs to be careful. It's fallen for Ryan. Into the box. Belconnen struggling to clear. In the end, they do get it away as far as Whittle goes down under the challenge from Galich, who already is on a yellow card, remember?
It looks like she's going to get a talking to here, Russ, so that could be it for her. We mentioned earlier that you've got to change your game as the game changes, and
final warning from Theo Dracopoulos. Any more of that, and she'll be watching the remainder of extra time from the dressing room.
But at least she'll have Bar TV to do it, Russ.
That's true. And the heaters. Goldstein goes back to Galich. Probably the first misplaced pass she's put in all evening. Here's Whittle looking to turn. Brown advancing forwards, trying her luck from range, Catherine Brown, and caught hold of it nicely enough, but the direction was lacking. We're going to get a change here as well, Mats.
Yeah, another change. Good drive by Brown, asking different questions of the defence, so she's taking that shot on goal, and that might lead to something later on down the line where it actually pulls defenders out and changes the positioning, as it looks like Price.
It's Price off and Woodman on.
Off and Woodman on, so that changes again. So some Price who's put in a good shift and been in and about, and Woodman with a bit of experience now coming in, who will hopefully settle and allow Belconnen to play their game.
Galich looks to squeeze it through, and he finds Munoz. If he gets there ahead of Tamaro, she would have had Carnegie in, but that's a great piece of defending again from Tamaro. Now here's Bunker chasing, but James is out early. Brown. Rashart. 5 minutes left of the first period of extra time. No addition to the score. Goldstein gets a foot in. Off she goes. Stretching her legs, advancing towards goal. Rachel Goldstein. Good ball wide, finds Chow. First touch was a little heavy. Still looking to create some space for herself. Back towards Goldstein. Shooting chance perhaps for Rachel Goldstein. Gets it onto the left foot. Fires it in there towards Bunker. Ricochets around and James comes out to gather.
Well out by James there. Would have been easy to sit on the goal line, but she's come out and smothered the danger well. But Goldstein getting more and more involved and starting to ask more and more questions of Belconnen.
Good strong run forward that from Bobbin to find Pike into the area looking for Whittle. Prodded away by Tamaro again, who as an auxiliary centre-back has done very well since she's been asked to drop into that role. Ryan will chase this with Keir, who goes back to James. Both sides have been forced to make a few tactical changes, and players been asked to play out of position have done very well.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got players filling in unusual positions, and that's the role of the of cup football, where you make the changes to try and get back in or to keep a result, and now you've got to adjust as you go into extra time. But Hagan, one of those players who's stayed in a role and has been extremely effective all day. Or all evening, I should say.
I keep saying daytime as well, mate. It's okay. Here's Whittle turning. Good win from Galich. Needed to time that well.
Yeah, did so perfectly, Russ, as they released Canberra FC.
Charles ball into the area. Rashart got there before Bunker, though. And then dawdles on it somewhat. No free kick. Good ball from Berkeley. Flag stays down here. Real chance for Sharon Chow. And she's missed it. James saves it. It's still not over yet, and she's offside this time by a mile. What an opportunity for Sharon Chow. The flag stayed down. She was one-on-one, and Sally James stood tall and makes a great save.
Great ball in behind there for Sharon Chow to get through, and well stood up by Sally James. Came, put the pressure on, was able to throw a leg out and pop it out, and the important thing being that the misdirection or the deflection went somewhere else and didn't land back in the lap for Sharon Chow. But Catherine Brown may be in a little bit of trouble here. She stayed down after that shot, and she was the one that allowed Chow to stay on side, and Caitlin Munoz down behind back play earlier on, so possibly some question marks over the ability of some players to run out the game, and it's been a physical game, and that's going to take a toll.
Nicole Jaloka is going to come on for Catherine Brown. Now, she wasn't fit enough to start, but obviously she's got enough in her to finish, and with 15 minutes plus couple here, 20 minutes in, and what a substitute to bring on.
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody who's been in good goal-scoring form and great footballing form as well, and it forces another reshuffle, and again we're asking players to do something a little bit different. Bronte Pike changes sides, Maddie Whittle goes back to right back, and Jaloka, a different kind of number 9, who'll ask different questions, and Gallic will have to be on her toes again with Jaloka, who brings a different presence.
You can't help but think, though, that Sharon Chow didn't realise just how much time she had. If she could have steadied herself and put a bit of power behind that, she would have put her team one step closer to the final.
Yeah, absolutely. A bit of element of perceived pressure there. I'm so close to goal in such a big occasion. I can't have as much time as I possibly do. I better take it as soon as I can.
Ball swung in towards Bobbin, who was lurking. But Vasta, who's been very strong this evening. There we go. I did it as well. And that's a bit of a loose one from Ryan, but Churchill's there. Jaloka's first involvement is to put pressure on Vasta, who sends it into the houses behind us.
Great pressure too there from Jaloka for your first involvement. That's quite a warning shot to send to Vasta to know that Whittle might be gone, but you're still going to get no time on the ball.
Munoz hooks it forwards. Touch from Berkeley. Carnegie. Jaloka. Foot in from Churchill. Out towards Bunker. Well run by Rashart.
Great turn by Rashard there. Good composure and good coverage there by Lauren Kerr, just in case Rashard did get beaten. So they had all ends covered.
Off goes Bobbin into the penalty area. Good piece of defending again from Galich. Bunker gets there first. Still there, Mel Bunker. And then in the end just couldn't quite pick the pass. Woodman. Controlled possession from Katie Woodman to Munoz, who was hoping that Pike could come near, and she had gone far. Tamaro.
And they're the kind of decisions in extra time, and the communication becomes so vital that everybody needs to be on the same page. As fatigue sets in, the decision-making's the first thing to go, and if that's on song, you're 2 steps closer to getting what you want.
Woodman finds Bobbin. Munoz has made the run into the penalty area, and Churchill slides in to win a very good tackle. Ryan drew the appreciation of the crowd, and that's a lovely turn from Hagan to find Berkeley. Chow to the right. Ryan's made the run through the middle, and she looks for Chow, and a mistake at the back from Carnegie. Needs to recover this, and does well to actually play it off with Sharon Chow. Should be a goal kick. And is.
Yeah, nervy ball there from Berkeley, one that you would expect her to hit, and then an even more nervous clearance from Carnegie, but recovered well, and credit to Chow, who's put the pressure on. That's the end of the first half of extra time.
Yeah, first half of extra time is done. It's still 2-2. And 15 minutes plus penalties perhaps to come over at Hawker. Woden Western are leading by 3-1. Sophia Christopherson scored the first. The equaliser from Eleanor Jones, and then goals from Alex McKenzie and Anna Vannerbruch have Woden Western close to the final. Who will they be playing if they get there? Will it be Belconnen? Will it be Canberra FC? Matt, you're the expert. Chucking you under the bus right now. If you were going to pick one of these sides, who's it going to be and why?
Well, as the expert that I am in the flip-flops that us experts can do, I thought early on in heading into extra time that Belconnen, with their poise and their experience, would have enough to get over the line. But I've got to say, Canberra FC are the team that are full of running at the moment, and they're the ones that seem a little more likely to create something out of nothing.
Well, let me check another question at you then, Matt. What if it goes to penalties? Who do you fancy then?
Well, it's hard to go against Sally James, given what she did with the penalty from Gallic, and I think potentially Belconnen with that experience. If they can get the experienced players through, like Munoz and Kerr, who've been there and done it before, that will potentially be enough. But it is a bit of a lottery, and you've got some quality players there in Goldstein and Ryan and Bunker, who created havoc, and from the penalty spot when it's 1v1, it really more comes down to who composes themselves and how much you back yourself to get the result in.
And who's going to win the election on Saturday? No, I'm only joking, mate. I won't ask you any more probing questions. We've got plenty of time to watch this second half of extra time. On the weekend, of course, Belconnen United play Walker City Wanderers and Canberra FC play Tuggeranong United. Myself and Matt will be at the AIS watching Gungahlin United take on Monero Panthers on Sunday afternoon from 2 o'clock. You can tune in and watch that live on Bar TV Sports. Saturday evening from the Riverside Stadium, myself and Steve Forshaw, Monero Panthers versus Tuggeranong United in the MPL, in which that competition has been pretty tight. A lot of sides beating each other. Tigers FC 5 from 5 at the top of the table at the moment in the men's MPL, but everybody else beating everybody else, and a bit difficult to say who's going to make up the top 4 in that competition, with the team from this venue having a horrible start to the season but suddenly turning it around last week.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the excitement that's the kind of competition that you want to see, that on any given day somebody's going to beat somebody, and it only takes 1-2 moments of magic to get your season back on track, and that bodes well for a good competition and a great game on Saturday night that you'll get the opportunity to call. Two teams that will be desperate to get some more points and really take a march forward to a top 4 spot that is literally anybody's to take.
That's for Saturday night. This is for now. 15 minutes plus penalties perhaps to come at Deakin Stadium. It's 2 apiece. The teams that are locked first and second on the ladder, Canberra FC top 14 points from 6 games, a goal difference of +30. Belconnen United 13 points from 5 games, goal difference of +37. The 2 standout teams in the competition going toe-to-toe in Cup football, Federation Cup semi-final action on Bar TV Sports. The second period of extra time, 15 minutes to find a winner, or we are going to the lottery of a penalty shootout. Substitution that Maddie may have spotted. What have you seen, mate?
Looks like Lara Agnew's come off the bench, fullback formerly with the academy there, slotting into the right back role. Unsure who's gone off at the moment.
Looks like Bridget Wright, maybe. Maybe it is Wright who's popped off. So we'll see Agnew into action as a defender. Will we find a winner? Vasta just lifts that one forwards. Comes for for Carnegie rather, and Jaloka, who didn't really get involved since she came on, but she's got 15 minutes to do something now, and here she is. Nice touch to Carnegie. In towards Bobbin. Carnegie again. Tries to slide it down the side for Zabel.
Really compact area there, Belconnen trying to break through. The Canberra FC defence is compressed nicely there, but the problem for Belconnen is that their wider players have come through as well, so the outlet ball's probably not really there, and that's a little bit of fatigue kicking in, and that'll have a bigger effect the longer this second half goes, which might lead to some sort of tired and lazy challenges, which can lead to a dangerous free kick or two as well.
A couple of players walking the tightrope of a yellow card as well. Vasta, who's stopped several good opportunities from the Blue Devils this evening. Ryan's touch. His price. Chases on here for Jaloka against Tamaro. And she fires it against the defender and wins the corner.
Interesting to see who steps up and takes the corner now with Brown going off. She's been delivering them all day, or do we have a cheeky short corner?
I think Jaloka thought about it and then left it for Carnegie. Rashart jogging into the box. Pike on the far post. Bobbin bouncing up and down in front of the goalkeeper. And he takes one good delivery. That's probably not it. It's bouncing around, though, and might fall for Woodman, who tried her luck. And Goldstein shows some good composure on the edge of her box to step away from one challenge and then win the throw. That's what you want, a bit of calmness from your leading scorer.
Yeah, absolutely, and Goldstein a leader of the team as well, so she's showing a bit of composure. That tends to seep through the girls who haven't been in this position before. Belconnen will try hard to lock this in now.
Munoz looking to find Bobbin. Bounces off Agnew. Only as far as Zabel. Now here's a real chance here for Kira. Bobbin onside. Puts it past the post. Real chance for Belconnen. Goes begging. One for both teams in extra time.
Yeah, absolutely. Cracker of a chance there for Bobbin. You could see the disappointment there. She missed it. Well brought down there in the centre of the park by Belconnen. Sweet change of possession there by Munoz, and Bobbin away and picked the right spot. Went near post. Probably expected to go far post and just pushed it slightly wide.
Both sides having clear-cut 100% openings to win this tie in extra time. And still, we can't separate them, which is what you'd expect from the two best teams in the women's comp in Canberra. Here's Churchill. Berkeley. Ryan can't keep that in. Carnegie, who was heavily involved in that last build-up. Here's Goldstein. Pocket of space for her to turn and run into. Stretches the legs. Still going, Goldstein. And tries her luck with a left foot drive from distance. And why not? 17 goals this season, and you can see why.
Yeah, absolutely. Good strike by Goldstein. Not someone that you want to give too much time. Well covered by Sally James, though. She shuffled across nicely to smother the danger and try and get Belconnen on the front foot with the longer ball.
Tamaro hoiks it forwards. Picked up by Whittle. Goes past the challenge of Ryan, who's back to win the ball back off. Maddie Whittle. Churchill. Bunker chasing. Goes down under the challenge from Kier. Wins a free kick. Antti Jagarinic and the Belconnen fans don't seem to think so.
No, absolutely. But that's probably led there from the ball that came back where Carnegie couldn't quite get enough pressure on. Maddie Whittle did well to prevent him from playing forward, and as the ball came across, Carnegie couldn't quite get there to snuff up the forward ball.
Free kick for Canberra FC, which Galich is behind. Lifts it into the penalty area, nodded forwards, and clear by Zabel. Galich from Churchill, looks for Ryan. Looks to roll the challenge of Whittle, and she's away from Whittle again here. Ryan, chance to deliver this into the penalty area. Berkeley's there, and lifts it over the crossbar. Lands on the roof of the net. Unlucky that. Good build-up. Good ball in from Ryan, who's giving Maddie Whittle a torrid time in her defensive role.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, Ryan getting around Whittle. You know, we know that led to the penalty before, and a nice ball in. And again, a little bit of composure element there for Berkeley. Probably had the chance to take the first touch and then bury it to bring it down, but went first time.
Keir thumps it forward towards Pike, and she's got away from Sharon Chow briefly here. Still going, Bronte Pike into the area. It's opened up for Pike to shoot, and she can only find Vasta's chest as well. Another good opportunity for Belconnen.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, great switch of play there by Kerr and for Pike to get on the end of it. But good defensive pressure there and for the opportunity to get on goal. But she's put it straight at the keeper under immense pressure and looks like Bunker down there with a bit of cramp and Munoz helping her out.
4 minutes to go at Hawker, and I'm hearing now it's Woden Western 3, Canberra Olympic 2. So maybe it's not over yet. Still a cup tie there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So possibly extra time all over town tonight. You can never have too much football. So as we go through here, and so interesting to see Hagen here pulling some of the young girls in and giving them a bit of direction, and that's good leadership there. You know, giving a tip, letting them know where things might happen and how they can improve going forward, and that's a really impressive bit of leadership there to portray. And you can see the leadership group of Belconnen United together in and around halfway as well, starting to formulate a plan as to how they're going to get through.
10 minutes, or just less than 10 minutes to go, plus a couple of minutes of stoppage time. Bunker in a world of pain here, isn't she? She's worked her socks off this evening in this cool conditions. And, you know, once you start getting cramp in these kind of conditions, it's difficult to keep going. But she's going to try and stick on through this, and it's going to make the final 8 or 9 minutes or so really, really interesting. And it's just, you just don't know which way it's going to go, Matt. And that's the exciting thing about it.
No, absolutely. It's been back and forward all day. We had probably a slow introduction into the game, but the pace of it has been intense the whole way through. An interesting move by Nick there, coming on to attend to the injured player and just delivering a little message to his players on the way around. There's something that he's seen.
Cheeky instructions. You can make a full substitute in extra time as well, I believe.
Yeah, I believe that's right.
So it'll either be Tiana Molnar or Lucy Darcy that's going to come on.
Might be Darcy, I think, getting kitted up, ready to go on.
If Bunker can't continue, it'd be a shame for her to go off because she has worked so hard. And you'd think she'd be one of their penalty takers as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Her energy and the amount of pressure that she's put on that Belconnen back four today has absolutely been immense, and she'll be desperate to get through and no doubt take a penalty. But the question is, can you make it? And given the amount of energy that she's expended today, it's probably not surprised she's got a bit of cramp.
Absolutely. Hopefully she can stretch this out and get back on there, because the team will need her for this final 8 minutes or so, and maybe she will be one of the 5 that will be nominated for the penalties should it go that far. Or will someone step up and become a hero in this final 8 minutes and send their team through to the Federation Cup final? Canberra C give the ball back to Belconnen, who will start from deep with Lauren Keir. Pike's nicked a yard on Chow, who's got there and got the foot in. Clash between Woodman and Zabel, and it's Woodman who plays it forward. 2 Belconnen players getting in their own way there. Here's Jaloka looking to run at Tamaro, trying to find the ball into the area, and it's come its way through towards Pike. There's Chow though. Hagen lofts it forward, still down to 10 at the moment, Canberra FC. Bobbin, who had that great chance
turn
a few moments ago. Wonderful turn to run forward. Carnegie wants it. Bobbin's still going. Tries to slide it through now for Carnegie and just had too much weight, but positive run.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wonder a little bit if the sea had parted a little bit, the red sea had parted, and she was able to drive through maybe just that little bit further. But Belconnen now starting to play more of those diagonal long balls as opposed to the straight balls that we've seen through most of the night.
Bunker still struggling with cramp in front of us as Keir advances into Canberra FC territory. Ryan had a slight pull back at her, but she's still going, Lauren Keir, and still battling away, looking to get it into the area. Can't get her foot around the ball. Are they going to make this change? I think Bunker has said enough is enough. She's not going to be able to carry on, and it's Lucy Darcy that's going to replace her. Big ask of the youngster.
Yeah, absolutely. She comes on into what would be her first Cup semi-final there, and traditionally a central midfielder player, so a slight adjustment. Goldstein into 9, and she's been far more effective through the middle part of the pitch, so be interesting to see what develops from there.
sometimes, as we said before, it's these injuries and changes that make things happen which we perhaps don't expect to, and those players will come up with the goods. Whittle back in a fullback position again, goes down under the challenge of Ryan. This time she does win the free kick, and a chance for Belconnen United with 6 minutes to go to load bodies into the penalty area. Rashart goes forward. In fact, everybody in blue is popping forward except for Whittle and Keir. Even Munoz is jogging in there as well now, so they're loading the heavy artillery into the penalty area, and a chance perhaps for Carnegie to lift this one in towards the box. Nodded away from Darcy. Goldstein steps away from a challenge, and off she goes and asks Darcy to chase after this. Lucy Darcy, arms pumping, but not quick enough to get there ahead of Lauren Keir.
No, good coverage there by Belconnen. They put plenty of numbers forward, but had the right people back in the right positions to make sure that the counter-attack got snuffed out nice and quickly.
Keir plays it forwards. I can tell you the winners of this match will play Woden Western FC in the final. It may be Canberra FC, because Goldstein's onside and in on goal. Real chance for Canberra FC's leading goal scorer, Rachel Goldstein, but she took too long and didn't get the shot away, and Rashart came across to make a crucial tackle for Belconnen. What a chance again.
Absolutely, great coverage by Rashart. Goldstein, surprising that she didn't make a more direct run into goal there, didn't open the angle up to give her a chance to shoot as early as she could, but great defence from Rashart.
Meanwhile, Pike tries to put Carnegie in similarly up the other end. Vasta's there, launches it forwards. Very surprised she didn't pull the trigger there, Goldstein.
Yeah, absolutely, somebody in that kind of goal-scoring form. She allowed Rashart too much of an opportunity to get back, who had to come from well behind, expecting an offside call as well.
And there seemed to be a huge amount of goal to aim at across Sally James in the far corner as well. But the chance is gone. 5 minutes to go. Carnegie's chasing after this one as well. This is going to be a grandstand finish, isn't it? You can just feel it in your bones that maybe there's going to be one big chance for both these sides before the end. Munoz can't get hold of the header. Goldstein in the middle of the park. Looks to find Chow. Well, she's giving it away to Jaloka. Galich didn't let her turn, though. Zabel gives it away to Agnew. Dinks one out. Munoz is in the way. Darcy goes down as Hagan swings it forward, looking for Ryan, whose touch may have got away from Whittle. And in fact, it's handball against Maddie Whittle, and a chance for Canberra FC as time ticks away to send everybody forward and maybe create an opening.
Yeah, good pressure there from Ryan. Just put a little bit of doubt in Whittle's mind, cut in front of us so she couldn't get the clear shot at the ball. Again, another opportunity here as you watch Galich push forward to take the free kick and see what difference they might do. Ratchart picking up Berkeley at the back post, which I think is probably a good move. She's been a danger there all night from those set pieces.
Galich might be lining one up from this range. She's taken some steps back as if she's going to pump this one towards goal, and she does, and it's dipping as well, and James needed to get up and push it over the crossbar. It had a fair amount of swerve on it and called the goalkeeper interaction. Decent stop.
Yeah, absolutely. Galich backed herself there. We spoke earlier in the night about her ability to really drive a ball, and James set that wall and got across nicely. That was absolutely heading towards that top bin, and she's been able to tip that over, so that no end of confidence there, but a follow-up chance for Canberra FC. Both
sides going blow for blow at the moment. Canberra FC looking to perhaps land the knockout punch from this corner. Hagan swings it into the near post. Came off the knee of Munoz. Whittle clears it. Carnegie tries to turn, is eased off it by two red shirts. Jaloka gets ahead of Hagan, who's straight back into the tackle. We're going to come back for the free kick. Theotrokopoulos was playing an advantage that didn't accrue. And it's now Belconnen's turn to send everybody forward. Pike's got a heap of space on this near side, and the momentum of it all just kind of drifts away for a moment, but it means we're going to get a chance for Belconnen to launch this into the FC half with under 2 minutes to play. Keir sends it. Good header from Darcy. Pike. Jaloka just rolls the challenge. Zabel goes wide for Woodman. Whittle back to Keir. Better ball forward. Woodman, bit of space to try and slide it through, but it's been picked off. Goldstein, very isolated, does well to hold it up, the forwards. Still not many red shirts in support, and that's a decent looking ball though for Churchill to chase. Whittles across and wins the throw.
Well done by Whittle there. She's timed that well to get across and make sure she won it and bounce it off to Churchill, so Belconnen end up with the possession.
Edging their way down the touchline with 60 seconds plus stoppage time to go, and we will go to a penalty shootout if neither side can score in this final seconds of the game. A thumped ball forward from Keir looking for Pike. It would be almost harsh on either side to lose it at this late stage. Bobbin, whose goal opened the scoring. Back to Rashard, who scored the second of the Belconnen goals. The one that looked like it would be sending them to the final for long periods of the second half. Rashard again. 30 seconds. Is there one final chance for Anthony Jagarinik's team? Lifted in towards Pike. The bounce is all important, and Vasta happy to claim it. And Canberra FC aren't playing for penalties. They want to win it in extra time as well. Agnew up towards Berkeley. Woodman shadowing with her, and Berkeley runs it out of play, and that might just be the end of it.
Good defence there by Woodman to make sure that Berkeley didn't really get any space or anywhere to go and just forced her wider and wider and wider until she ran out of room.
Berkeley, is there one final opportunity for those in red? Whittle determined to deny them. Berkeley in midfield. Churchill. Goldstein, nicely done. Good turn as well. Still going Goldstein. Away from Munoz. Looks for Churchill outside. Now, can she deliver? Darcy's in the middle. It's off of Whittle. She'll clear it from the touch from Zabel. And Belconnen come away. Theodrokopoulos looks at his watch as Pike sends it forward, and it's lumped back by Tamaro. It's off Munoz. Rashart under pressure. Chow wins the ball. Can't squeeze it through to Ryan, though. And now Rashart. It's Belconnen's turn to perhaps dream big. Bobbin. Still full of energy, even after 120 minutes of football. And Agnew comes across to tackle her.
Well done by Agnew there. Young player in the early stages of her first grade career. Would have been so easy to dive in on Bobbin there and create a problem for herself.
Jaloka into the area. Cleared by Tamaro. Falls for Whittle. Still going Whittle. She's got Munoz outside her. Whittle's run into a crowded penalty area. And the ricochet will fall for Vasta, and another glance at the watch from the match officials. Another ball forward. Still not over. Ryan to Goldstein. Rashart. Now Munoz. Caught late by Hagen. Churchill came across the clear, and it's still we go. Carnegie. Jaloka into the box. Carnegie again. And he finds Lucy Darcy, and that's sent forward, and Goldstein will be the willing runner after this. Bronte Pike turns away from goal, though. When she's given it away to Chow. Now, is this an opportunity for FC? Deep into stoppage time. Sharon Chow tries her luck from range and didn't have the pace to beat James, and that could be it, Matt.
Yeah, a little bit of panic under pressure there, I think, from Chow. Thinking about the time, thinking about the game, thinking about where we're up to.
Maybe it's not over. Here's Jaloka bursting into the area at the other end. I don't know where all this stoppage time's come on for Bunker's cramp, I guess, but it seems to be a lot longer than that. Carnegie's ball into the area. Might fall for Munoz. Down she goes in the box.
Been denied.
Is she a penalty? It is a penalty. Possibly the final kick of the game. Munoz goes down, and it's head in hands moment for Canberra FC. It's a heartbreaker.
Oh, absolutely there. The ball in from Carnegie, and Munoz with a late ghosting run in, and she's got that first touch, and a reflex action from the defender there is taking Munoz down. She's picked herself up because you imagine she's the one who's going to step up to take it, but pressure on now.
And if there was anyone else on the field, you would guess it would be Caitlin Munoz. If you wanted someone to take a penalty, it would be Caitlin Munoz, with possibly the last kick of the match. Munoz against Nat Vasta. Munoz sends Belconnen United into the Federation Cup final. The Blue Devils will progress. There cannot be any time left for Canberra FC to get back into this. It's 3-2.
3-2. Composure, your senior player there, bearing that ball and likely sending him through the grand final, and she's taking her time to get over halfway as well, so really giving everybody a chance to set before the one possible last push for CFC.
There cannot be much time at all, and Jaloka has charged down Hagen's attempted ball forwards, and that's where Belconnen United want it on the touchline. It's a real heartbreaker for Canberra FC to concede in the 90th, the last minute of extra time. There goes the whistle, Matt. An incredible ending to an incredible cup tie, and for Canberra FC you can only feel.
Yeah, absolutely. Heartbreak for the Canberra FC people, elation there for Belconnen United, and it's one of those games where everybody put it on the line, plenty of open opportunities at goal, and a good advertisement for women's football without the region. Your top two teams who really went at it hammer and tong all evening and created plenty of opportunity and plenty of excitement.
There will be questions asked, I think, about how long we had at stoppage time there. I mean, obviously we're not privy to the stoppage time board. There wasn't one that went out, but it seemed an inordinate amount of time that we were playing. No real question marks about the penalty, though. It looked fairly obvious from where we were.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Time may be a question. Penalty, absolutely not. Munoz denied the opportunity to pick up the ball after her first touch, and the referee left with no decision.
It never looked like she was going to miss, did she, when she put it on the spot?
No, absolutely not. Been in that position 1,000 times, whether it be at local level, national level or international level, and that's why she's possibly the best player to come out of the region.
Well, thanks for your company, Matt. A bit longer than we thought tonight, and you'll be with us again on Sunday at the AIS. Gungahlin United v Monero Panthers back into league action. It'll have to go some way to top this, though, won't it?
Oh, absolutely. You know, pleasure as always, Russ, and looking forward to Sunday, and hopefully we'll get somewhere close to the excitement we've had tonight. Well,
an incredible ending to an incredible cup tie. It was extra time in the end, and it's Belconnen United who have come out on top. They will play Woden Western Wanderers in the Federation Cup final because Caitlin Munoz scored with a penalty with virtually the last kick of extra time, deep into stoppage time at the end of the half-hour extra period at Canberra's Deakin Stadium. The full-time score after extra time in the Federation Cup semi-final is Canberra FC 2, Belconnen United 3.